wanted to interview me, and I asked him if I could simultaneously stream to my channel, and he's like, "I guess," and so I did. His link to Jae Darké's channel is down there below, and if you want to cover up Jay's hideous, horrible face, you can always send in a Streamlab or a super chat because they will appear and cover his face with a giant ass, which I don't really think he would complain about. So, whatever.
Nah, dude,
Anyway, that's
that's
my introduction. He has to do his introduction for his people, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
hell
And
yeah. Welcome everybody. So today, dude, this is kind of unexpected because I told you guys this yesterday. I said, yeah, I'm gonna have TJ on soon. You guys were excited. Well, here it is already. Fucking TJ, the amazing motherfucking atheist.
Jay, fuck him in the mouth, fuck him in the ass, fuck him in his nostrils. Do whatever.
Hell yeah.
Just a series of holes. The good thing about being as fat as I am is you can pretty much fuck any part of my body. You know, there's some kind of give everywhere.
That's true, yeah.
But don't do it. You know, do it soon because I'm losing weight. I lost 10 pounds, and you know, there's still 90 more to go. So don't worry, I'm still really fat. Be a long time, if ever, before you actually see me skinny.
That's fuck. Sorry. Yeah, dude. Nah, I believe in you, TJ. I fucking believe in you. I believe you can lose the weight, yo. You're gonna be skinnier than Paul. You're gonna be skinnier than Scotty, TJ.
Well, the good news is that Paul. Well, it's not good for him, I guess, but it's good for me that Paul gained a bunch of weight in quarantine, and I really didn't. So right now, Paul actually weighs more than me again. So that's good. I think Paul's up at 320, and I'm around 310 right now. So and I was up at 320 myself a few weeks ago. So I'm doing pretty well, losing weight at the healthy recommended rate of 2 pounds a week or so. And at that rate, in about a year's time, I will reach my goal of not being fucking morbidly obese. So
Hell yeah,
cool.
dude. It's
Yeah.
a fucking beautiful thing. I believe in you, dude. I'm in a similar boat. I'm trying to gain weight though. I'm doing
Right,
the
because you're
opposite.
like an emaciated stick person.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
if I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing, yo.
Right.
But yeah. So I've been wanting to chat with you for a while because I've been watching you for like I don't know, like 5 years now, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And you know, I've been in and out of the community. I've done a lot of shit. You know, I did some podcasting back in the day. Had you on. We don't need to talk about that stream. That was an interesting stream. But I've been wanting to have like a more serious discussion with you because I'll be honest, TJ. You've kind of helped form a lot of my opinions. And I know there's a lot of people out there that would sneer at that, but I say, you know what, fuck you, dude.
I hear it all the time, and then people are always like, you know, oh man, dude, you're fucking, and they're like, oh, and I can tell a lot of people like they write me and shit, and they want to have like serious discussions. I'm like, I'm just not really a very serious person, but it seems like I attract serious people for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen you have a lot of serious discussions though, a lot of deep discussions.
Yeah, but you might have seen that happen, but you've probably seen about for every one of those, you've probably seen about 50 not serious at all discussions about some random, you know, like let's fucking talk about booger shits or some fucking nonsense, you know. So whatever. But yeah, I'll be all serious mode. You know, I'm gonna be totally humorless. I'm gonna adopt the air of fucking Ben Stein. I'm gonna talk in a very
No, it doesn't need to be that serious.
All right, okay, cool. Thank God.
But by the way, I'm just fucking saying to the chat right now. Oh, wait, it is live. Yeah. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, it's live.
Don't troll me, motherfuckers.
Which chat are you trying to talk to?
Oh, fuck no, my stream isn't live. God damn it. Okay.
You suck.
You didn't make the stream live, dude. You know what? I'm gonna say this, yo. I'm gonna fucking say this. A lot of people in the chat give you shit for like your live streaming shit, and I'm like, dude, lay off TJ. And then they call me a Tajika fan, and I'm like, nah, dude.
It's harder it looks. Scotty gives me the most shit of all, and like him running OBS, you might as well give it to a monkey, you know? Like, you know, people like to talk their shit when it's not them trying to run this shit.
Yeah, dude.
It's harder than it looks.
No,
man.
dude, I've experienced this shit, dude. It's fucking hard. Oh, my stream is live? Dude, why are you fuckers trolling me, yo?
Oh, man, they fucked me. The last time I did a stream, they were like, Mike's muted, bro. Mike's muted. Like 50 people in the chat. Mike's muted. Mike's muted. I'm like, fuck, is it really? And then luckily I had Trusty Coolman in the chat to be like, no, they're fucking with you. It's like, oh, thank God.
I have it. God damn, I don't fucking trust no one. No, okay. No, I'm good. We're good.
Everything's fine.
Fucking shit.
Calm
okay.
down. Settle the fuck down. God damn it.
Yeah, we good, yo. Why y'all tripping me out? Okay. So let me. I've got to improvise with my camera real quick. That's. I'm kind of like trying to fix this shit real quick because fucking. Last minute my fucking settings got fucked up. So again, guys, like this live streaming ain't easy, yo. It ain't fucking easy.
Streaming ain't easy.
It
should be.
It
but
should be,
fucking
dude.
not.
It should be fucking simple. It should be
Should be just turn on the camera, put the graphics where they need to go. All right, let's do this.
So you know what? I guess I'll ask you this since it's kind of relevant.
It don't work that way though.
I'll ask you this since it's kind of relevant. What what do you prefer between like live streaming content and like the short like video content that you use?
I don't know. So it's interesting. Live streaming is cool. I mean, obviously it can be a little bit more nerve wracking sometimes, like because if you run out of, if you're doing a fucking video and it's like, oh fuck, how do I want to phrase this part? You can kind of turn off the camera and like pace around and go like, okay, then I say this and then, or you might even have an outline or something like that. That's why I do a lot of my streams with outlines and shit. So it's like, okay, if I fucking paint myself into a corner as I'm fucking want to do, you know, because sometimes I'll have tangential thoughts that lead to absolutely fucking nowhere. And that's why, like, oh shit, you know, streaming can be kind of scary in that regard. Because I'm like, oh, what if I paint myself into a fucking corner and then I fucking stare blankly into the middle distance? Like, what am I saying? So streaming is like way harder in a lot of ways. And I mean, obviously you got to stream for a long time. You don't have to, but it's kind of expected that you're not just I'm going to turn on and stream for 5 minutes. You know, no one does that, you know, whereas you could definitely do a 5-minute video. But I had a thing where I had someone come to me the other day because they saw I was posting like some videos that I recorded and did some like light editing on, not a lot. And they were like, finally, you're doing real videos again instead of those lazy streams. I'm like, dude, do you have any idea how much harder streaming is than making a fucking video? Like, I literally just turned on a camera, ranted, made like a few little snip cuts, rendered it fucking again, uploaded it, and didn't fucking think twice about it. Probably the hardest thing about it was making a fucking thumbnail. And that, you know, it's like, whatever. But, you know, stream, you know, a lot of times I'll have like a day or a day and a half or sometimes multiple days of trying to fucking put an outline together and organize my thoughts into something that resembles a fucking point. So those are way harder, but it seems like people perceive them as being way easier. So I don't know. I guess there's like drawbacks to each. I think streaming is obviously you can explore more. And there's like kind of a feel of like energy to it, I guess, just because, you know, it's happening right now in this moment.
Yeah.
And, where the fuck is all my goddamn is fucking Streamlabs and Super Chats not enabled here? What the fuck are you motherfuckers doing? I'm trying to grift here. Come on. Let's get some I haven't seen one. I've been streaming for fucking 11 minutes and 33 seconds. No one's fucking giving up all their fucking hard-earned money. What the fuck,
dude? Animancer told me I should try to get you in on a side project we're working on, dude.
You're money repellent, dude. They're just like,
damn, dude.
I don't even want to give.
Then I don't know, dude. Maybe our project won't work, but I don't know. We had an idea for a project called the Grifting Hucksters, dude.
Hell yeah!
It's just gonna be a show where all we do is just grift, you know.
Yeah, every episode is like, all right, guys, we're here to grift. Get that money flowing in.
Yeah, and then when people call us scammers, then they'll just be like, yeah, it's right in the fucking name. Like, what did you expect, Joe? At least we're fucking honest about it. At least we're fucking upfront.
did you honestly think was going to happen?
the grifting. Yeah, we can raise some money for an RV trip across America.
They already gave all their money to Vosh. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true, yo. Everyone gives all their money to Vosh these days.
And it's like, all right, sorry, TJ, none left over for you. Fucking Vosh ate all my damn money.
You did, yo. I will say though, dude, I really do like the fact that Vosh has been gaining the kind of traction he has. I really think he's kind of the figure that the left really fucking needed to rehabilitate a lot of ideas. Because there's just
the conversation, because it was that's the great thing is when the conversation gets stagnant, someone will come along and change the conversation. And that's like more than anything. I think, whether you're like left, right, center, whatever, like, I don't know, if you've been in this thing long enough, you can sense when a paradigm shift happens, and he definitely represents that.
Yeah, that's true.
But people hate when I suck the Vosh dick, so let's fucking move on to something else.
They hate when I suck the Vosh dick too, but dude, I'm like, nah, I have to give credit where credit is due, especially when I tend to.
They don't like that. They don't care. They don't think it's due. They're just like, Vosh fucking, he sucks. It's like, yeah, he sucks so bad that he's constantly in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, they bring him up more than I do. The reason I just mentioned him now is because his name is in the chat. Like, Vosh took all our money. We can't give you any.
Yeah, dude.
Vosh stole it.
He did, dude. He stole it. Well, so I mean, Vosh has changed the conversation on a lot, and we may touch on some of those things, but I kind of want to talk about something that I feel like you've changed the conversation on, at least in my mind. Although I still I still find myself in a lot of circles that don't quite think this way, and it's very frustrating. But nihilism.
Yeah, Mr. Naughty Priest, good. Wait, why am I not getting an alert? Okay, there's one. Okay, cool. We're good. Sorry. There's the alert. It's coming. It took a minute. Sorry, Mr. Naughty Priest. I don't mean to interrupt with that. By the way, I'm gonna read all of the Streamlabs and Super Chats at the end. That's how this works. After I talk to Jay, then I'm going to give you guys some of my time to read out your guys' stuff. So if you have a thought at any point during this, or a question or anything like that, we can read them at the end. I don't know. Maybe Jay will stick around for that, or maybe it'll just be me. Who cares? Just fucking, Anyway, Jay, go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your interview with my e-begging bullshit.
Nah, shut up. You got to grift, dude. It's part of the job. It's part of the job. By the way,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. By the way, y'all can donate to me too, dude. It's a
yep.
Anyway, I'll read those. I'll read shit at the end too if people happen to donate to me. Anyway,
Jay's already. I need it more. I need to feed my starving family.
Yeah, dude. TJ's got like 10 subscribers. I've got like millions of subscribers. I've got like a mansion, dude. Like TJ. Oh, yeah. TJ's poor as fuck, dude. I've been to TJ's house. He got like a what? What was that? Like a 1-bedroom? Like, goddamn, oh, yeah. TJ.
I basically just live in this one room,
Same room.
That's all I have.
Eat, sleep. All I got. Eat, sleep, and stream in the same fucking room, dude.
Yeah. I got a little mat that I pull out. I fucking sleep on it. It's hard as a rock.
Yeah, dude. Donate to TJ. I mean, TJ does deserve your fucking money, though, dude. TJ is a fucking. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
All right.
We'll stop the dick sucking, dude. Yeah.
No,
I don't have super chat. If you want to donate to me, you have to donate to me on Streamlabs, and that's better anyway, because YouTube takes a fucking cut of the money. Fuck super chat, dude.
Fuck YouTube. Fuck them.
But hey, if you guys want to subscribe to me, my channel is Lord Darké. Those of you watching on TJ's channel.
Link is in the description. It's right down there.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, in the description. Yeah. Get my channel up above like 1,000 so I can actually turn Streamlabs on or super chat on.
I think it has to be 2,000 now.
2,000. God damn it. Oh well.
Yeah,
get it to that then. Go subscribe, dudes.
Go subscribe-alize.
Streamlabs better. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you about nihilism, TJ, because I didn't really understand or I've never heard the term before. I don't think before you started doing your book, the Order of Chaos, which I still think is a brilliant piece that you gotta get back to, TJ. You've been slacking off with that, yo.
Oh, whatever. I just did the last chapter a year ago.
Yeah, just a year ago, dude.
It's fucking proceeding, at a reasonable rate of progression,
Whatever. I mean, I get it. You guys make a lot of fucking content. I can't really hold it to you that much, but no, it's good. And one of the reasons I want it to be finished is because I do think if enough people read it or listen to it, it could change the conversation on nihilism, because I think nihilism is an extremely valuable, not really ideology. It's more of a lack of ideology, but I view it as a framework. You know, and it can be important to understanding many things and deconstructing not just religion, but various social constructs like, you know, religion, politics, gender, you know, pretty much everything.
Deconstruct. It's time. Like, our society has become too bloated with copious amounts of bullshit that may have served a purpose at one time, but it doesn't anymore. And now it's time for a reset. And you know, nihilism is one of the tools that we can use to deconstruct our reality so that we can, you know, create it again in the image of the present and stop being beholden to these antiquated traditions that, you know, like I said, may have had some value at some point, but are certainly not useful to us any longer.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. Because like the more I understand, like, I'll be honest. Because I told you one of the last times we spoke that I've kind of had these like moments hit me a number of times of like, whoa, like everything you know is fucking wrong, dude. And that song starts playing. My everything you know is wrong, you know. And I'm just like, dude, like I've just got to reconstruct everything. And one of the things that has made it like kind of blown everything wide open and made me kind of have to reconstruct literally everything is the idea of nihilism. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because it's allowed me to you know, figure out, you know, my own views on various things and what I believe to be truly valuable, and you know, rather than just relying on various things. And it's helped me, you know, in terms of religion, in terms of politics and gender. I don't know if you know this, but I've recently come out as like, I guess, agender or non-binary. I don't know. I don't identify as a male. And one of the reasons is because kind of I've realized like the only reason I've identified as a male is literally because I always was told that that's who I need to be, right? That's you know, you were born with a penis. You have to, you know, you have to fit into this box. You have to fit into this meaning of what it means to be a male. And then growing up, I had very different abhorrations on that and viewpoints on that, and was taught some you know, different shit. And like so now, like, reviewing that and being like, what am I? Who am I? You know. And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not I don't believe, I believe in gender abolitionism. I believe gender, and I've actually been talking about this for quite a while, and I didn't know what this term meant or what it was until I heard Vosh, or people tell me about Vosh actually, but I had been pretty much preaching a gender abolitionist message on my channel for a while before that, and you know, and I kind of came to the fucking position of like, if I advocate for gender abolitionism, then why am I conforming to a gender identity that I don't fucking even adhere to? I don't believe they're even valid, and I don't, and even if I do view myself within the framework of these gender identities, I don't fit into them anyway. So why am I gonna sit here and you know, because basically attack a group of people who had the exact same viewpoint as me, but were a little more confident in order to, you know, say no, I'm not conforming to this, yo. I'm something else. Yeah,
I mean, when it comes to the gender abolition stuff, I think it's kind of fascinating that you know, I saw some conservatives the other day talking about, man, this gender shit is just a dumb, made-up concept. I'm like, that's true. Let's get together on that. Yeah, abolish gender. But of course, when they say it, what they really mean is like they want to return to like very traditional,
well,
like gendered norms.
Actually,
and stuff.
I've
but
heard...
they're not really, you know, they're not really. I mean, they say they don't like the concept of gender, but what they really want to do is just have it exist but not, you know, actually address its existence, and just want to treat it like it's you know, some biologically determined thing. You're a man, you act this way. If you're a woman, you act this way. It's like, well, what about the literally like all the exceptions to that, you know? And they're like, well, we don't care. So I mean, I don't have any problem, I think, with people adopting fucking, you know, the values and shit we think of as like traditionally masculine right now. Like, you want to be, I'm gonna fucking be tough, or I'm gonna be like, I'm a hunter, or, you know, I want to go to like rough bars and get in fist fights and shit. Like, whatever you want. If you want to do traditionally masculine things, or if you want to do traditionally feminine things, like, I'm a fucking, you know, I like sparkles and glitter and fucking home design, or whatever, the fucking interior design, whatever the fuck, whatever you want to associate with whatever fucking sort of like gender norm, or even sex norm, if you want to just ignore the fucking concept. But as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, if what I'm aiming for, if I'm going to say something like get rid of gender, it's just so that people can have more individual freedom to express themselves, you know, however they want to be. You know, it's like, instead of like don't even bring like sex into it, you know? Like, if you want to like sparkles and fucking frilly things, then go ahead and like those things. If you want to like tough macho things, go ahead and like those things. And, you know, don't worry about what fucking junk you got in your pants, you know? I think that'd be the ideal state of things, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't know. Obviously, it would take a long time to bring that about. I also, though, think pretty similar things, you know, about politics at this point. Now, I've started to think in terms of, you know, like political abolitionism, because I've started to realize like this whole like left, right, center, like all these political ideologies are really just nonsense. Like, this is not how politics actually operates in people's minds. There's like a series of traits that people have, or like a series of beliefs, and people pick and choose. And then it's like, okay, well, I got 70% of the beliefs I share in common is with this thing, so I guess I'm that thing. But it's like, you're not really that thing. You still got 30-40% you disagree with them on. But it's like, we try to put everything in these like tribal sort of like prepackaged like sets of ideological positions, but really people have like a whole host of ideological positions that are totally incongruent. And sometimes it's like, you know, people hold two positions that seem contradictory, and then they just have some kind of really rough patch that they, you know, install to make it work. Like, oh, I'm a libertarian, but I also support the police state. It's like, huh? Well, they have some kind of justification for it, some little patch. It doesn't matter how shaky it is. If they can cross that bridge, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a shaky, rickety, horribly constructed bridge. As long as they can, you know, walk across it, they can marry those two ideas together. And that's how it actually works. It's nothing to do with like, oh, I'm this thing or that thing. It's like everybody. It's too hard to have. I think it breaks down conversation too much when you start bringing it to that level of nuance. Like, people can't. People want a word. You know, they can be like, I am X thing, and, you know, that's what I am. And then it's like, oh, well, I understand, because I understand what X thing is. But
they want it to be simple.
You know, really everyone has their own understanding of what X thing is. And you say your X thing, and that means one thing to you and one thing to another person. And if there's 100 people, it means 100 different things. So, you know, really the only thing we'd be giving up by, you know, destroying the concept of like political barriers or gender identities or any of this stuff is just, we'd be giving up the illusion. And that's really where I'm at this point. And, you know, I feel like we have to start back from, and this goes all the way back to my libertarian days. We have to start back to a framework that's constructed around the individual and their complexities. And, you know, it's a tough task, because it really inhibits communication on a mass scale to some extent. So there's definitely problems there. But I think that, like, if you watch, I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but if you watch like a lot of internet debates and stuff, I hate debates between people, because it always feels to me like everyone who's having the conversation is always trying to basically get checkmate in 2 moves.
Yeah.
Like, it always feels like everyone's like going for the win. It's like no one wants to play the long game, and no one wants to sit there and have that conversation and really delve into another person's psyche. And I think it's because, once again, these these ideological prepackaged things that say I'm this thing and you're this
Right.
thing, and these are how these two things interact. It's like, no, fucking forget that. That's all garbage. You're a person, I'm a person. I have beliefs that are outside what this prepackaged thing is. You have beliefs aside from what your prepackaged thing is. So let's throw those the fuck away and let's talk as human beings issue to issue and see who the fuck we are. And not treat it like a fucking chess match. And especially not one that we're trying to get checkmate in 2 or 3 moves. But it's a complicated thing, and I don't know where people are on it yet. But that's where it's basically my line of thinking at this point.
That's the thing is that everyone just wants it to be simple. They don't want like a nuanced discussion. They just want like a simplistic answer for everything, and they don't. And that's the thing. That's why I'm for like abolishing, like literally abolish meaning. Like that's the point of nihilism, right? Abolish meaning, like because all meaning is subjective anyway. And like you said, it's just shattering the illusion. It's an illusion that we're all living in, and we're kind of just like going through the motions, acting like this is how it is. But then some people will step out of the fucking norm and do their own thing, and then society looks at them like, oh, you can't fucking do that. That's not like, you're not like normal or whatever. And I think a lot of the thing, like I get it. A lot of people are never going to tear down those structures, right? People are going to always like form their little in groups, their little cultish sort of groups, and have that sort of behavior. But that's why I want to normalize the idea that meaning is subjective, because like you said, like these terms, these political labels, they have different definitions for every single person. Like everyone, like I can get like 20 fucking socialists in a room, and every single one of them will give you a different definition of what socialism means. Same with Nazi, communist, Democrat, liberal, Republican. Like everyone has a different fucking
people out there right now, like that I would think, like when I look at them, I'm like, okay, you seem like you're a right winger, and then they are like, no, actually, I consider myself a liberal, or I consider myself a classical liberal, or I consider myself to be a libertarian, or whatever the fuck. And it's like, you don't really strike me as those things, but it's like I don't really know what's going on in your head. I don't know what kind of ideologies you have. I don't know what sort of positions you've checked yes or no to. And the label you slap on yourself isn't really telling me much about it. And I think another problem that's going on right now is, I remember something George Carlin said back in the day about how, don't try to make the audience think, but just let them know you're thinking. And I think that's changed. I really think now people do want you to. I think people turn to a lot of these figures, whether it be politicians or political vloggers or the political pundits or whatever. They look to these people to do all their thinking for them.
Oh yeah,
it's like, I don't want to think, so I'll go to Sean Hannity and he'll tell me how to think and he'll tell me what to think, and it's I'll just regurgitate those talking points because that's close enough to how I feel in my gut. I basically, here's a rough sketch done by my intuition, and then someone else is going to do the fucking hard work of justifying what I feel intuitively. And, and then you end up with these people who just kind of walk around in a zombie-like daze because, they've basically surrendered their thought process to another person. And they don't want to, they can't think independently anymore, or at least they choose not to.
Right. I mean, a lot of people do that, and I'll admit, I've been guilty of that. I think everyone is to an extent, where it's like, you don't want to like, you kind of just want like the easy answer, someone just do your thinking for you. And I'll be honest, like I used to just kind of look to people like you and other people I would watch on YouTube, be like, what do these people think, And I've kind of realized the danger of that, because when you do that, you end up just you end up not having your own opinions, and when you get into arguments with people, you don't really know how to defend the ideas that you hold. You just refer back to this other person's arguments, and even if you get really good at reciting those arguments, when someone throws you a curveball of something you don't understand, then it's like, does not compute, rerouting, back to initial argument, and you kind of get outed, and it leads you to just. TJ, I'm gonna be honest. One of my biggest fucking gripes with society, one of the things I think we're lacking more than anything, and you probably agree with this, is just critical thinking in general. People do not know how to think critical. People don't want to, and I honestly think that is the number one thing that should be taught in all schools. First and foremost, teach kids how to think for themselves, how to think critically, and that way they'll be able to at least come to at least most of the correct answers when it comes to most questions. Because I feel like when people truly think critically, they tend to come to the correct positions. At least a lot of the time.
Thing is too that when you talk about critical thinking skills, I mean there's courses you could take that you could learn critical thinking skills in, like, I mean, obviously you have to practice them and stuff. You can learn your basic set of critical thinking skills in like a couple weeks. I mean, it's not
sure, but most people don't, and
people don't, but like the thing is, people don't want to know how to think; they want to know what to think.
Right.
And I'm not saying everybody. I mean, clearly there's a lot of people out there that are thinking for themselves, but there's just a lot of people out there that are sheep, and there's a lot of people out there who don't want to think; they just want to feel. They want to have like this gut. I mean, you have the Ben Shapiro stuff, like facts, not feelings. I mean, the problem with him is that, what is his intelligence, and I'm not saying he's unintelligent. He uses his intelligence to justify people's feelings. He's just conservative, if we're going to use the term conservative, feelings of like, oh, I'm fucking, oh, damn it, these fucking, whatever. And he can come up with the intellectual justification for whatever those people are feeling out there in America or wherever the fuck they are in the world. And there's so many people like that, and it's just basically a lot of pandering and nonsense that it doesn't actually ask people to examine things. There's not a lot of fucking, like, another thing you notice is, like, you ever watch someone's like YouTube video and they constantly have to like tell you about what they're not saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have to sit there and constantly tell you like, oh, and when I say this, I'm not saying this, and I'm not saying this, and I don't want you to take it this way, and I don't want you to take it that way. I think it's such a shame that people have to sit there and do that shit. Because if the people watching, had any sort of sense of like, reading between the lines, that wouldn't be necessary.
Right.
But people don't want to do that. People don't want to have a nuanced approach. People want to fucking jump to whatever conclusion. People want to have the most if it's something they don't like, they want to have the most uncharitable fucking interpretation possible.
Yeah.
If it's something they do like, then no sort of fucking evidence to the contrary can convince them otherwise. Because they start at the conclusion and they work their way back, and everything is just in service of that conclusion. That's why you can't change anyone's mind. That's another reason I hate debates, is because it's two people who are coming in whose mind. And you could say, oh, well, it's supposed to be for the audience. Well, all the audience is watching is a bad faith conversation between two people who are not honestly engaging with each other. So that's not doing the audience any fucking good either. It's just training you how to be fucking entrenched in some dumb fuck position instead of being open to changing your fucking mind, because changing your mind is viewed as like the ultimate sin or the ultimate fucking weakness.
Right.
Because it means, oh, you didn't defend, you weren't entrenched enough in this stupid position. It's like, is that of value? It's not valuable to just be married to an ideology no matter what, and just unquestioningly, oh, I'm obedient to it. I'm obedient to it. No matter what happens, I'm just obedient.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking virtue. It's not, in my opinion.
No, in fact, I believe that undying loyalty to anything, unconditional loyalty, is probably one of the stupidest traits you can have. I'm not gonna say like, because unconditional, like, it's almost as dumb as the idea of unconditional love, because it's like, wait, so you're saying there's no condition at which you would stop loving this person or whatever, or being loyal to this person. It's like, no, there should be reasons. That's why I don't buy into like brand loyalty anymore, or fanboyism. God damn, I cringe at my days fanboying for various fucking things I enjoyed, companies I enjoyed, or whatever, shows, podcasts even. It's fucking good no matter how shitty it gets. Yep, I like this. Keep feeding me this fucking dog shit. But
Feed me.
That's the problem, dude. People just want to be people just want to be consumers. It really sucks, dude. I feel like we've had this message of like, hey, I feel like we've had like the warnings of like, hey guys, consumerism is getting to be a problem. Hey guys, like this fucking mass consumeristic culture that's all about like, you know, just turning your brain off and buying and, you know, just listening to whatever you're told. Maybe this isn't a good fucking idea, and we all just ignored it. I mean, I don't know if you grew up with like shit like that in your like children's cartoons where it's like, hey, maybe consumerism is bad, you know? I did.
There was no message of that because, you know, especially, you know, when I was growing up, every cartoon was just you know, it was a toy. It was a toy commercial.
Yeah,
and
sure.
like everything you want, like I was a big fan of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid. It was a hot cartoon show.
Yeah, I guess the narrative of like, hey, this is maybe a problem came forth maybe in like the early 2000s, like the late 90s.
Yeah, they might have worked some more subversives, but back then it was just like the Ninja Turtles are cool. You want to buy?
Yeah,
it's like I do. You want to buy their yogurt? Okay, they sell yogurt. Sure. You want to get the macaroni that's shaped like the Ninja Turtles? All right. Yep. Like whatever you could. They would sell you any. They slap the Ninja Turtles on anything and everything and sell that shit to you. I mean, and they still do that with fucking kids shows and properties and stuff. You know, man, fucking merchandise. That's huge. I mean, that's like George Lucas made most of the fucking money that he ever made on fucking Star Wars merchandise. Yeah. He never did off of fucking those movies or anything. People see the movie, but then they want the fucking poster and the T-shirt and the fucking action figure and, you know, whatever else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, look, I mean, I like material possessions as much as the next fucking person, but like, it definitely occupies way too central of a fucking place in our culture. And
no, it does, and I think it's a larger part of the reason, or maybe I know it's tangential to the reason why like people tend to just, you know, they don't want to think for themselves. They just want to like, you know, listen to a talking head and you know, it's just so frustrating. I really feel like that it's the meme of like people are sheep, and it's like, yeah, they are, but like I feel like everyone knows it too. It's so frustrating because you talk to most people who'll be like, yeah, people are fucking sheep, right? Yeah, they are. People don't fucking think for themselves. No, they don't. And it's like, well, where do you get your opinions from? Sean Hannity. You know, and it's baffling. It's astounding. It's fucking infuriating when you're trying to have a dialogue with people. You're trying to move a dialogue forward. Like one of the most. I don't know if you noticed this, TJ. Here's one of my problems with debates and just discussing shit with people online in general is that you can have a conversation with like 50 different fucking religious people, but have maybe 3 or 4 conversations in total. Because most of them are just spouting the same fucking talking points. And it's the same with right-wingers, it's the same with left-wingers, it's the same with pretty much any ideology. And maybe that's because, like, I've thought maybe it's because, like, because of the internet and because of the way, like, ideas spread and the best ideas tend to win out, maybe we're at the point where literally only the best arguments for certain things, or what people perceive to be the best arguments for certain things, are the only ones that... But I honestly think... I think if people just think, oh yeah, here's a good argument, I'm just gonna stop here, which is what I think people tend to do. You know, we don't fucking find... we don't end up finding new arguments. We don't end up discovering anything new. People are just treading the same ground over and over, trying to bolster the same ideas, and there's no progress.
I mean, I think to me the problem is that people don't engage with people; they engage with ideas, and you know, it's fine to engage with the idea, but you have to look at the psychology behind it, and you have to realize that, you know, this idea of a monolithic ideology is yet another concept that I at least consider to be completely illusory. I think that there are as many ideologies on the face of the earth as there are human beings. Probably a few more, because some people can hold 2 totally incongruent ideologies or more in their fucking head. So I mean, like, you're whatever conversation you're in, you're not engaging with conservatism or leftism or I'm talking to a tanky, or I'm talking to this person or that person. Like you're talking to an individual, and not only are you talking to that individual, you're talking to that individual in that moment. They could be totally different, in a few years, or they could be totally different in a few weeks. You don't know. They could be in a totally different fucking headspace. You're talking to that person in that instance, and they're the same. They could be different tomorrow. You could be different tomorrow. And it's like we don't want to acknowledge the humanity of other people anymore. We want to, pen people up in these ideological monoliths and say, oh, well, this is that group, and this is that group, and this is this tribe, and it's us and it's them. And it's really not us versus them. It's you and me, and it's people. And I think that the further we get away from that reality, the more stunted and meaningless our conversations become, the more we are the dog chasing its own tail. And we're not really exploring things. We're not really fucking we're not adequately exploring the people we speak to, and we're also not even adequately exploring the ideas that they convey, because we're not really listening. And that's just where I think we find ourselves.
I
this
agree.
Conversation summed up. Blah blah blah. I'm glad you're impressed, Brennar.
Damn, yeah.
Fucking just a bunch of empty words. This conversation's actually about you, strangely enough.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
I hear talking, but I ain't listening to nothing. It's like fucking case and fucking point.
Too nuanced.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh my God. It's like the on switch isn't like, I know his brain is capable of understanding what's being said here. I know it is, but it's so resistant because it's like, oh no, they're trying to fucking, I'm like a tick and I'm attached to the host body, and they're trying to pry me off and say like, no tick, you can live on your own. You don't have to drink this blood to survive. It's an illusion.
That's how it feels.
And it's like, no, they're trying to take my blood. So I mean, I don't know, man. You just like wake up, sheeple.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry. But then whatever. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I do.
Not enough nuance, dude. That's. I think that if there's nothing else, that there's just a huge deficit of nuance in our culture, dude. Especially, and I think that's part of what makes people misunderstand nihilism so much.
It's hard for nuance to compete, though, because it's like easy answers. Step right up and get your super goddamn easy answers here, folks. And it's like, easy answers. Oh, it's sugar coated. Oh, it's delicious. It's deep fried. And then it's like, nuance. Get your nuance. It's good for you. All the essential vitamins and minerals. Like, no one wants it. It's like, ew, it tastes like shit. Get away from me. Nuance is tough. It's me. It's stringy. Yeah.
And
all right, maybe food for my brain because of the stupid diet, but
Yeah.
TJ in this discussion, blah, 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 blah. I think I'm just going to do that for the rest of the conversation. Whenever you're done talking, I'm just going to be like, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, they'd probably hear the same thing no matter what.
Why so defensive, Kuhlman? What's Kuhlman doing? Kuhlman says, what do you think they should be talking about? That's defensive?
Dude.
Kuhlman, the guy's literally like, this conversation sucks. Coleman's like, what do you think they should be talking about? And the guy's like, why so defensive, huh, bitch?
I love the conclusions people jump to. I love how, dude.
It's gibberish. It's nonsense.
Yeah,
it's total non-sequitur.
You know what I noticed, dude? It's really interesting, and I've noticed this, like, being on both sides of the live stream. Being in the chat with a bigger live streamer, and then being a live streamer and having people in the chat who will kind of assume what you mean or assume what you're thinking, or like it's really made me notice, like, everyone in the chat is really just like going through their own shit. They got their own little thing going on, and they might not even be watching the same stream. Like, literally everyone watching the stream might be watching a different fucking stream, dude. Depending on where they're at.
Or several. Like, I'm gonna mute this one and listen to this one, see if anything interesting is going on this one over here.
Right, but I mean, like, in an abstract sense, they're listening to, like, they're listening to the same stream, but they're all hearing something different, depending on what their ideology is, or even if they're just having a shitty day and they just want to, like, they've just come in to fight, you know, and they're just viewing everything as like, you know, oh, fuck this person, oh, what's that supposed to mean? And I mean, I've been on the other side of it too. I've done it where I'm doing that as the streamer, and as someone in the chat says, I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? You know, there really is like a lack of communication, like real dialogue being had on the internet. Everyone's just making assumptions. Everyone's just kind of like trying to be heard, and no one wants to actually fucking listen.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's trying to be in the herd. You know, I mean, like it's stratified, I guess. There's no homogeneity. Is that how it's pronounced? With people anymore. And I guess some people look at that as like to some people that's like what's wrong with society, is like, man, if only we were all the same, you know, we could just have a clear and easy path. And you know, just, you know, in some parts of human history, you know, you were able to kind of get that going on because you could really limit the sort of ideas people were exposed to. You could make ideas heretical very easily. It's harder to do that now. And, you know, you would hope that would kind of unlock the individuality of human beings and kind of set everyone on this journey of like self-exploration. But what it's really done is factionalized people to a greater degree, to where everybody, you know, people aren't necessarily individuals, but they are, you know, they join up with this tribe or that tribe. And even if they don't necessarily join with the tribe figures out some other way to assimilate them, you know? Like, oh, well, you believe this thing and this thing. Well, in that case, you know, you're part of this group.
Right.
Sometimes you're initiated into the tribe, not even by the tribe itself, but by the opposing tribe. Like, you say something that, you know, is disagreed with by group X, who hates group Y, and then all of a sudden you're lumped in with group Y. I don't know. It's just, it gets really bizarre.
It does. And it gets frustrating trying to have conversations with people when, you know, they feel like they belong to a certain group and they don't want to hear anything different, and or they believe another another group is objectively wrong or something. And I don't know, to bring it back to nihilism, I do think that's why I think it is extremely important, like the message of optimistic nihilism, dude, explaining to people
I want to answer someone in the chat really quick.
No, go ahead.
Someone said, TJ, how come you're not interesting anymore? And I can feed this right into the conversation we're having, which is why I felt like it was important. I'm not interesting anymore because you're too stupid to understand me. That's why. Yeah. Just want to let you know. No, it's not really me that's the problem. It's you and your very, very limited intelligence. Now, you might think I'm insulting you right now, but I'm actually not. Because I fully believe that you have the potential to not be a dumbass. So go out there. Like, so do me a favor. The switch in your brain that's flipped off, flip it on, kickstart it however you have to do that. Get some fucking LSD, get some mushrooms. I don't know. Go have some sort of profound fucking experience. Go out there and have some sort of like revelatory sort of like, wow, I understand now. Like, have it. Get some sort of identity for yourself. Have some sort of belief system that comes from you and isn't spoon-fed to you from the outside world. And then come back to me and listen. And you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. TJ's actually making sense and saying something interesting. No, but you can't have that because right now you're just like, you're on your brain's on low power mode. So go fucking kick it up a notch, rub some neurons together, and then come back to me. Okay, sorry. I'm going to not look at the chat anymore. I'm going to just let it be its own thing.
Oh, I'm not even looking at your chat, TJ. I won't even go over there.
I'm looking at it, and I just wanted to...
I can only imagine what they're saying about me right now.
They said... a few people have said that... One dude said that you're like someone he would bully in high school, I guess. So, yeah. Cool, I guess. Let's see. What else are they saying? I fought with both TJ and Jae Darké in the past. They're both super interesting in this discussion. Those who hate this need to think outside the box. Yeah, well, don't even just get rid of the box. Don't even think outside it. Just destroy it.
Dude, that's the point. Get rid of the fucking box. We don't need it. We don't need it. Just go where you want, dude. You don't have to be in it, out it, around it. Just go where you fucking want. Fuck boxes.
TJ, you're laughing about me referencing. I said I wasn't gonna look, and then I started looking.
Yeah.
Bloop. You guys are boring. Do a funny do fart. He. Yeah, all right. I'll get right on it, man. It's gonna be fucking
TJ. TJ, I have a real serious question for you, TJ. How many dicks can you take in your mouth at once, TJ?
Oh, let me tell you, man. I can take so many dicks right in my fucking mouth, dude.
Damn, yo.
122 dicks. That's the world dick sucking record, my man.
What about, like, can you take, like, 20 dicks in your mouth and, like, 20 dicks in your ass at the same time, TJ?
Well, like every Tuesday. It's nothing for me.
Yeah, dude, well, I do that, like, twice a week, TJ. It's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And when one dick comes, another dick shows up and replaces it. This
Hell
is
yeah,
fucking
dude.
how it is.
All the dicks, all day, every day, dude.
Every dick.
Is that better for you guys?
It's already in me. I got every dick in the world in my ass right now, including your own.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's all there.
But I guess I had one more point I wanted to bring up about nihilism. I wanted to. What are your thoughts on why nihilism just kind of gets conflated to cynicism? Because I think.
I don't even think it's conflated with cynicism. I think it's just like conflated with like, oh, you're just being edgy or like. I think a lot of people think nihilism. Okay, so here's what I think happens. All right. So people turn like 15, 16, 17 years old. They have, because I think everybody goes through at least a nihilistic phase early on. They're like, oh my God. Even if they don't go all the way to nihilism, they have a crisis where they flirt with nihilism, where they're like, nothing fucking means anything. This whole world's just a pile of fucking shit, man. Blah, 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 blah. And, they have this this real crisis because they grow up, they're taught that everything has meaning, everything matters. And there's these values that are not of human origin that just exist. And it's never explained how. And then they have this crisis moment when they're young. And then they view it as like this thing that must be overcome. I must overcome this nihilism. I have this nihilism, and I'm starting to fear that maybe the God that I was taught, exists, doesn't exist. Maybe the great meaning that I was taught that the world has, it doesn't actually have. Maybe this purpose that I thought my life was headed towards, it actually isn't. And then it's like, okay, now this is part of, you got to overcome that. It's time to overcome your nihilism. And it's like, no one ever thinks, maybe you got to fucking accept the nihilism. Maybe the first step towards, navigating your way through this world the way it is now is by accepting that nihilism and just being like, okay, yeah, there is no inherent meaning to existence. There is no inherent thing I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just a fucking human being. And most of this shit that I was taught is objective is actually completely subjective. And I have to proceed from there. And I can tell, like, the reason there's so much backlash against that is because, you can't have, there's a lot of stuff that you can't have when you think that way. You're not allowed to have objective morality. You're not allowed to have a way that the world should be in some objective sense. Now, you can still advocate for a form of morality. You can still advocate for a way the world should be. You can still advocate for a number of things, but at the end of the day, when you're pressed on it, you have to admit to yourself and to the world, no, these are just my subjective thoughts and opinions on the matter. And other people may think differently. And that's uncomfortable for people because if there's not this great grand moral truth, then no one can be a crusader for the great grand moral truth.
Right. So you think it's like a combination of like people wanting there to be some sorry, people wanting there to be some overarching meaning inherently.
COVID, God damn it!
Yeah, dude, the COVID.
Get away from me with your damn COVID.
So so it's like a combination of people wanting like an inherent meaning inherently, but also people wanting to cling to that idea of an objective morality, because that way they can like. I guess a lot of people misunderstand like the idea of a non-objective morality system, which I like. You can have like a utilitarian morality system that.
Right, here, I can explain it to anybody who thinks that. I can explain it super quick. All right.
Yeah.
So if you believe in objective morality, all right, think about your objective morality, what you think it is. These are my objective morals. This is what I believe. All right. So take all that, and where it says objective morality over it, scratch out objective, write subjective, and you got it figured out.
Yep.
So I mean, like, but people don't like it because no one wants to say like Hitler was evil, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, people want the strength of that. Like, he was objectively evil, and the universe itself thinks so.
But that's not even true.
Sorry,
That's the problem, because people are really uncomfortable with the fact that that's just not objectively true. And in fact, like,
people are really uncomfortable with the fact that there's no heaven to go to once you die. People are uncomfortable with a lot of fucking things, but you know what? Being an adult's about accepting that shit. At least in my opinion. Once again, all objective.
So do you think, because atheism has become much more widely accepted, do you think nihilism in turn will become much more widely accepted? Do you think it's something that we need to actually push?
So atheism is growing, and I think there's even a lot of atheists, though. It's like, I'm an atheist, but I reject nihilism. It's like, well, then you're still, as far as I'm concerned, you're not a fucking atheist.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, the bar for being an atheist is higher at this point. You can't just say like, I don't believe in God, but I still believe in meaning. It's like meaning. The idea of meaning is just a fucking, like, you're basically trying to throw out.
Whoa, TJ, are you gatekeeping?
You can't saw the bathtub in half and keep the water in one half. You know what I mean? Like, God and meaning were linked together. Everyone's like, it was like, why does this mean something? Well, because this is God's opinion. Why is this wrong? Because God said so. You can't get rid of that God and then still keep the objective fucking meaning that was derived from his omnipresence and omni this, and he created us and he's the master of all reality. If you don't have a master of all reality with its own opinions, then you can't attribute opinions to the universe. The universe doesn't have an opinion on you fucking murdering your family. The universe doesn't have an opinion on genocide. The universe doesn't have an opinion on any of this stuff. We do. Humans do. And that's it. They're opinions. And I know that's scary. I know that's not what, because, oh no, if it's not this objective fucking truth, then, what are we going to do? But here's the thing. I'm not advocating that we make this a subjective truth. I'm telling you it always was.
Right. So
nothing really changes except for the way we fucking talk about it and the way we think about it. But of course, I think people are afraid, well, if there's no objective morality, then people can justify anything. They can already fucking do that. All they have to do is say, like, Hitler didn't have any problem justifying anything he did. It's like, this is right. Jews are evil. I'm doing the right thing by getting rid of them. I'm doing the right thing by leading my people to prosperity and fucking racial purity and all this stuff. That's objectively correct. But it's subjective. We know in actuality it's subjective, but you can fucking pick any crazy shit you want and just slap the word objective on it and just proceed from there. So it doesn't really matter whether we view morality as objective or subjective. It's still subjective. And the proof is, you get 100 people together who each believe in objective morality and ask them to describe their objective moral systems. And you know what? You're going to end up with fucking 100 different fucking moral codes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that blows my mind, is that, like, it's pretty obvious that there is no objective moral standard. Like, even people that claim, even people from the very same religion, from the same sect, from the same church, will have widely different ideas on morals. So it's just, it blows my mind that anyone could think that there's objective morality. I guess that their explanation of that is, oh, well, there is objective morality. Humans just struggle with it, and it's hard for us to grasp it properly. But no, there's no evidence to objective morality. And as soon as we can fucking start realizing that, we can move towards coming to a decent, a utilitarian sort of morality system that actually benefits us as a society. And I think it frustrates me because I see a lot of people that they're just adverse to nihilism. And I think it's something that can help as a framework for like a lot of fucking shit. And people just get too uncomfortable when they hear it. Like it goes hand in hand with understanding a set of morals that, because a lot of people think, oh yeah, no, you have to get rid of morals. No, dude, like I've started to look what objectively is the correct, because you can still find like an objective standard or a utilitarian standard, like what benefits the most people, what is the most beneficial to society as a whole.
Right.
That's a good standard. I don't know why there has to be like well, I guess I do know it's tribalistic fucking nonsense and people holding on to their antiquated fucking systems of belief, but it's just a struggle, because I want to tear these things down. I want to make people understand, and people literally, even people like I talk to people from your community who don't understand nihilism, and I'm just like, I don't get, like, how do you not understand? How do you not see that this is like,
bring it back to like nihilism 101.
Yeah.
There is no inherent meaning to the universe. There is no inherent meaning to existence. There is no meaning of life. There is no purpose, etc. It's just that easy. Like, anything, that's it. There's nothing more to it than that. And to me, if you're going to, and I've put it out there before, if you're going to challenge me on nihilism, then all you have to do, same thing I'll tell a Christian about God. You want to beat me on the religion question? Then just demonstrate God exists. You want to beat me on the nihilism question? Then just demonstrate meaning exists. It's that fucking easy. Now, of course, we have to define meaning, and then then you can, because anybody could say like, anyway, someone could have some really fucking loose, crazy, like, meaning is anything that does anything. Well, this thing does something, therefore it has meaning. It's like, okay, well, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about like some great cosmic purpose, like the machine of nature is moving towards this very specific objective or something, like there's a purpose or a higher fucking call to all things in existence or whatever the fuck. But that's not there.
Right. So anyway, I guess that's all on nihilism. I kind of wanted to move on to the anti-SJW movement, because I feel like we talked a little bit about gender abolitionism already.
Someone in the chat did bring up, and I won't. Sorry,
go ahead.
And I keep looking at the chat. I just can't help it. It's like the toothache. I can't. It's like Bill Hicks said watching Cops was like having a toothache and pressing down on the tooth like, ow.
Yeah.
Ow. You just can't help yourself, and I don't like reading them. Now, not all of them are stupid. But what's this? Nihilist is cringe. Any nihilist would object to being murdered, negating their entire world. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So that one's dumb. That wasn't even the one I meant to read, but I'll go ahead and address that too. So no, I still don't want to be murdered. The reason I don't want to be murdered is because I have survival instinct, and because I like existing. But like, this is like saying, oh, if you were a real nihilist, you wouldn't have any problem stubbing your toe, because that pain it means something to me.
Right.
I still can have subjective meaning. Like, I still like the taste of ice cream. Is it a fact that ice cream is delicious? No, it's my opinion.
Right.
There are people out there who think ice cream fucking sucks. I think they're idiots, but they're out there because it's an opinion that you like ice cream. But I can still have my personal fucking feelings about it. And the vast majority of people, almost all people on the face of the earth, do not want to be murdered. That's why there's laws against fucking murder, because no one wants to be murdered, and no one wants to have a loved one murdered.
Right.
Nihilism does not mean that you give up on any sort of semblance of caring about anything. Nihilism is not, I don't care. Nihilism is the universe doesn't care.
Right.
All right. So get it through your fucking thick skull, you dumb fuck. All right. But another person said, and it's a famous quote. I don't know if it's, they said, if nothing is true, everything is permitted. I think that's Dostoevsky, something like that. If nothing is true, or I think the original version was like, if God isn't real, everything is permitted, or whatever the fuck. If nothing, but he said, if nothing is true, everything is permitted. Everything is permitted. Well, everything's already permitted.
Right.
Everything's already permitted. There's nothing against the law of, like, if you want to go grab a knife and go stab your fucking neighbors to death, there's no law of nature stopping you. There's laws of man. Why? Because nature doesn't give a shit if you murder those people. Man does. The laws of nature are things like you can't just grow wings spontaneously and fly, but that's not because of a moral prescription on the part of nature against flight. That's just a fucking property of reality from which we can, unless you believe there's a God, there's some authorial source and some intention behind it, then you can't attribute intentionality to the fact that you can't sprout wings and fly. So, I mean, that's my response to that. Anyway, you want to move past nihilism, that's fine. We can do that. But those are little bows we can put on the fucking package. So,
yeah. No, I mean, well, one of the things I wanted to touch on was the fact that nihilism, I mean, I did touch on this at the beginning, that nihilism has kind of helped me, deconstruct gender and shit like that. I'm guessing you would agree that, gender stereotypes and shit are harmful largely, or at least can be.
Sure.
And I guess, see, because my approach to helping people deconstruct these things would be, again, through a nihilistic worldview of, like, these things are meaningless. Do you think that is a valuable way of going about it, or do you think maybe there's a better way of deconstructing gender
I don't think that there's any. I don't think nihilism itself does much in terms of deconstruction, but it can definitely lead you to look at things in a way that's sort of tailored towards deconstruction, right. Whether it be like the concept of gender or gender norms, or it could be the concept. I mean, we're sort of thought here, or it could be the concept of political affiliation, which I explained earlier why I think is kind of silly. There's a number of things that we all just kind of take for granted that, I mean, I feel like they're going to go away. I feel like they're being stripped away. I don't know if they're going to be stripped away quick enough. But the point of all this stuff is not like, let's just deconstruct everything for the sake of deconstructing it. The point is, let's deconstruct everything that is, and ask ourselves, like, is this still of value to us as a species? And if it is, if we determine as a collective, this is valuable, then, we'll keep it around. Or, everyone can make their own determination. I'm going to keep this. Or I'm not going to keep this. I reject this. And that's fine, because you can have different people have different values and still coexist together, as long as they agree on a few fundamental things, like I'm not going to murder people or something. Obviously, if someone is like, I believe that murdering others is my path through life, it's okay. Well, then we're going to have to put you in a box somewhere because you're dangerous. But beyond that kind of stuff, like, people can disagree on a number of fucking issues and still coexist relatively peaceably with one another. And that's the kind of the point to me is, see what's valuable. And if there's a system in place, you can question it. And if there's a better system that might, serve the needs and interests of people better, then we should use that. And to me, this is just really obvious shit. Like, if something doesn't work, look at why it doesn't work and then build something better. And, it seems like people are very reticent to do that, because a lot of people are just like, it's good enough. It's good enough. Right. Everything's good enough. I don't want to fucking, I'm scared to change. That's enough now.
That's the problem. It's good enough until it's not good enough for you. But that's the problem. It's good
enough until like 50% of people are getting kicked out of their houses, and 50 million Americans are experiencing like food insecurity, and
that's most people don't care until it affects them. That's the fucking problem.
Until the entire system collapses under the weight of its ineptitude, then people care. But it's a little late.
Yeah, and that's honestly the fucking sad part. So I wanted to talk about the anti-SJW movement because I know you've said a few times that you
I wanted to talk about the bowel movement.
the bowel movement. I mean, what's the difference? Sorry. I mean, yeah. So you started the anti-SJW movement, TJ. What were you fucking thinking?
I didn't know I was doing it at the time. You know,
Yeah.
I was just like, man, this fucking Sharon Osbourne's a fucking hypocrite, dude.
I mean, I agreed.
Like, wow, this is really popular. I should make more stuff like this. And other people are like, wow, that was really popular. I should make stuff like that too.
Right.
And then there was Elevator Gate, and that was like tailor made for the situation. I mean, it's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of factors happen.
So, do you think that the anti-SJW movement has grown largely toxic at this point? And I know
okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reject the notion of. I mean, I hate the idea that a group of people is toxic.
Sure.
Right? Because whether or not they're toxic really depends on who you are. You know, they're obviously not. You know, I mean, some people can be toxic.
I'm not talking about the individual people. I'm talking about the movement and the effect that it has.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it just kind of depends on what your objectives are. But as far as being toxic goes, I mean, I would say that, you know, if you're a certain kind of person with a certain kind of worldview, then yeah, it's toxic.
Well, from a leftist standpoint.
You know, I don't think that they're completely toxic. I think there's still some fucking valid stuff in there, but unfortunately,
there definitely is.
At least from my point, like, because there's stuff in the SJW stuff that really is beyond the pale stupid and just really dumb. There's stuff where it's like they're trying to control how people think. They're trying to control how people associate with one another. They're trying to control how artists can express themselves. And I haven't backed down from a fucking single bit of that.
Sure. No,
when you're going to take those like SJW types and conflate them with all fucking leftist thought and use that as
that's not what I'm
fucking dismiss. You know, like there's actual forms of social justice that do need to be, in my opinion, enacted.
Right.
But it's not, you know, get the titties out of the video game. I like the titties in the video game. Fuck you. It's not like you can't say, you know, you're not allowed to make this joke. It's like, yes, I am. I mean, it's a fucking joke. I'm allowed to do that. But it reinforces this. Like, no, it doesn't. It only reinforces that if you're a fucking idiot. So, I mean, we can have a fucking we can have a joke and then have a discussion about like the intention behind the joke. But you're not allowed to just say, this is the intention of the joke. Authorial intent be damned. That's what it means. Fuck you. You're canceled. Whatever the fuck.
Right.
So the SJW stuff is stupid. There's, you know, SJWs are toxic in some ways, and in other ways they have points. And the same thing can be said of the anti-SJWs. I feel like I mean, you know, I hate to take this enlightened centrist thing, and I know that pisses people off, but if you listen to all the stuff I said earlier in the nihilism and the section I could loosely call the nihilism section, then I think you'll see where I'm coming from. It's, you know, the problem is, once again, we're looking at groups. There's a monolith and it's called anti-SJWs, and there's a monolith and it's called SJWs, and all them believe this and all them believe that. It's like, no, they don't. Well, it is a bunch of individuals that have a bunch of different beliefs and a bunch of different reasons for coming to those beliefs.
Well, that's largely my point, though.
You have to talk to them person to person.
That's
if you're not going to fucking understand the individual, then you're never going to understand the group.
Right. And but that's kind of my point, though, is that the SJW movement is kind of like it's built up of individuals. And when you really look at it, like, okay, yes, there is a large movement of people that absolutely take things too far. But when you look at what most people, like just most people in general society believe and what they want, they don't align with the SJW values, and they never have. And another thing, like most people, like they want racism to end, they want equality. They agree with all that. They don't like sexism, you know. But for the most part, like they don't think freedom of speech should be curtailed. They don't, you know, they're not going around thought policing people. And when they hear about that stuff, it makes them cringe. My concern with the anti-SJW movement and what it's become in my eyes is largely a way of just dismissing leftist thought as, oh, you're just an SJW. Whatever you think. Yeah, these ideas just align with SJW thought, and because basically, like, the further left you go, the more of those accusations you get. The more people are like, oh yeah, you're an SJW.
I mean, look, I'll tell you what, the further right you go, you're going to be getting the same, you're going to be getting the flip side from the SJW side. You're this,
Sure.
you're that, you're this, you're that. It's like these, like I said, like a lot of times you're not defined by the team, you're defined by the opposing team, supposedly. You know, like, oh, you're throwing your lot in with these people. Oh, you're throwing, like, my whole point is don't be on a side. Like, fuck, I don't believe in the concept of the anti-SJW movement. I don't believe in the concept of the SJW movement.
Right.
I don't believe these things exist. I think they're a fucking fantasy. I think it's another illusion. I've already deconstructed that and seen, like, no, these are not groups. These are fucking people who maybe share like one or two things. Like, there's no fucking defining trait. There's not one fucking single trait that you can spot across the board. Try to, like, tell me the one thing that unites every conservative. What is one thing that every single person who identifies as conservative believes? You could spend your entire life trying to figure it out. It doesn't exist. There is not one unifying trait. There's a bunch of overlapping traits that this group shares and that group shares, and that's why there's all these different fucking substratas of this or that or the other thing. People form these alliances, these tribes, because it's like, well, I can't implement my agenda on my own, so I'm going to have to throw in my lot with some group of people, and that maybe that group agrees with 40% of what they think, or 90% of what they think, or whatever. I mean, however you want to. I mean, it's like I said, it's hard to even fucking point out what the beliefs of a group are in a general sense. Recurring motifs clearly, but like any single proposition you're not going to find across a fucking entire spectrum of a group. Like Christianity is a perfect example. Like, you would think like they all believe in the divinity of Christ, right? Nope. Well, they all believe Christ was a historical personage, right? Nope. There's people out there who are Christians who just, like, I respect in some vague way the teachings of Christ. They might not even know what the teachings of Christ are. For a lot of them, it's just cultural. I was born into a Christian fucking household, so I'm a Christian, even though they don't even know shit about Christianity. It's just something it's just a label they've took upon themselves. Like, across the board, every sort of fucking label you could slap on somebody, ideological label anyway, there's not really it's really just about, hey, there's a collection of traits. I can point to myself and be like, okay, I have, I believe I'm an atheist. I'm an anti-theist. I'm fucking like, I consider myself to the left. I consider myself an anarchist, whatever the fuck. We go through these things, and then, another person, I might be like, hey, this is my pal over here. He's an atheist too. Oh, but what politically though? We don't agree. He's a right winger and I'm a left winger, or whatever the fuck. Or maybe it's as simple as like one little issue. And you'll see it all the time. Like, these groups, they'll be like, oh, we're this fucking strong group and we're this unified front. And then one issue happens and it's like, we disagree on that. And then the group splits into two totally different groups. And people who were allies yesterday all of a sudden are like, that person that I used to fucking pal around with is a fucking idiot, doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's because they've lost their humanity. We pseudo-speciate one another. We fucking destroy the humanity of people who disagree with us, especially if it's like the big hot disagreement of the moment. And we fucking deprive them of that humanity so that we can just put them in this group label, and we can just, hate that label. It's like, anybody who fits in this label is a piece of shit.
Right.
And it's counterproductive, because you're not really confronting the individual. And as long as you aren't understanding why a person believes what they believe specifically on an individual level, you're not really confronting their ideology. You're just confronting your notion of it.
Yeah, and well, that's kind of why I think, though, that there's a problem with the way the anti-SJWs make anyone on the left, and I do agree, SJW has become a meaningless term, and it doesn't mean anything, but that's the problem. People on the right, I feel like we've been subject to like right-wing fear tactics to make us think, oh, the left, that they're all scary SJW, that, they want to take away your free speech, they want communism, they want this, they want that, the scary leftists, and it's brought to a place where we can't have a dialogue anymore, because everyone just is quick to, label someone a fucking SJW and say, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, we're still talking even now, and I understand that a part of it's just the limitations of our language. We're still talking even now about something that the right is doing to the
No, sure.
left. You
When
know,
I
and
say
it's
the
like
right, I mean right
I
wingers
get
with
why. I mean, I understand.
right
What you're
wingers who are
talking
bad faith actors who are trying to specifically, you know,
about.
tear down leftists, and there are a plurality of them.
Sure. And I understand that, and it's really hard to
It
know how to discuss these things
it
without
is.
evoking the tribes. But yeah, I'm just kind of in an anti-tribe point of view sort of mood at the moment.
No,
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. And look, you know, people, you know, that's why it's got to stop. That's why, like, if we ever fucking hope to coexist with one another and like bridge this gap that exists between different ideological factions, then we all have to fundamentally accept, I think, one of the few things that I mean, like, to me, there's facts, and then there's ideologies, and in between fact and ideology is a long and winding road of subjectivity. And if we could all just admit to ourselves that that long and winding road is made up of subjectivity and not these great profound truths, like if we could all just accept that our beliefs after a certain point are like a product of ourselves, then I think we could coexist a little bit more peaceably, even if we had radically different ideas about the world. Um, and I think that's kind of like, you know, I don't believe in you know, whether you want to call it, like, we can kind of apply it to the issue of like integration. You know, there's like this melting pot kind of view, and there's this what's the other one? The diversity, something with diversity. Why is the term escaping me?
Not sure.
Someone in the chat will know. What's the other one besides the melting pot? It's the fucking
Multiculturalism.
multiculturalism. That's it. I got hung up on diversity, or the multiculturalist approach or whatever. Like the idea of like we can all be very different cultures that coexist together, or we can all just like be homogenized into one culture. And it's like there's like this idea of I mean, I think either of those approaches could work, honestly. But when it comes to like the big criticism of like multiculturalism that comes from certain people, I'm not going to fucking attribute it to left or right or any fucking thing. There's just certain people who criticize. I think a lot of the criticism is, you know, it doesn't work on like, oh, this culture is different. It doesn't like people always think like, even if they're looking at multicultural kind of society, they're still thinking in monoculture terms. And they think like our society, you know, oh, we can't adopt that mentality. It's like, you don't have to.
Right.
You can fucking still have your mentality. They can have their mentality. Everyone can have, like, I mean, you can have a society that's made up of different people. Like America's done it. Like, we tried to be the melting pot, but really, like, we're kind of like, to my way of thinking, the best example of a multicultural society. Right. And the main source of our problems at this point is not you know, the different ideologies out there, or the different fucking, you know, racial groups or ethnic groups or cultural groups or whatever the fuck. Although I believe in abolishing all of that, because I'm just I'm in super abolitionist mode.
Right.
But and I just want to get it right down to the individual level. But as long as those things do exist, that's not what's really fucking us. What's fucking us is that we have a ruling class that has managed to convince some of the population that if they shut up and keep their heads down and do as they're told, that maybe one day they can curry favor with the working class, right, with the ruling class, and maybe even become ruling class themselves. Right. And as long as that delusion persists, it's really hard to fucking turn things around. No. And that's why, even as we're in the midst of this this eviction crisis that's you know, leading to mass homelessness, even as there's like we're seeing a spike in food insecurity, even as we're seeing a spike in people turning to unemployment as the real unemployment 20% and stuff like that. I mean, we're like, this country is like fucked right now, like total like Great Depression 2 territory. Yeah. And we're the one, you know, the bailouts are all benefiting the super rich, the super wealthy. The working class isn't getting bailed out. The lower class is just ignored as usual entirely. And I feel like all of these things that we've been talking about, all of this tribal shit, that stuff is being played against us big time.
Oh, absolutely.
So that we don't fucking, like, if there is a real us versus them, it's us who have no power but could if we united,
Yep.
and them who have all the power and are doing everything in their power to keep us ignorant and blind to it. So I think that's where we are, and I think that, fuck all. If we could all, as people, whether you identify as left wing or right wing or whatever fucking wing or whatever if we could all just unite together and agree, like, fuck the ruling class in this country, like, we can settle up all our differences later, but we got to get these motherfuckers out. Like, if we could all just agree on that, you could see some real change happen. But I don't think that's gonna. I mean, obviously, after you did get them out, there would be tumultuous, crazy fighting for what the new world was gonna be. But the first step is wiping this shit away. So if we could all at least agree on that point, then we'd be there. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who still defend a really awful status quo, even though it's so obviously failing.
Yeah, I do agree absolutely. And I do think it's, the only us versus them is the ruling class versus the working class. It always has been, and that's the thing. I actually wanted to ask you about this because I wanted to bring this up because I do like Paul's idea of a giant labor union in this country, and I do actually agree that if the ideal circumstances were to play out, I could see it working exactly how he describes, where for those of you who don't know, a labor union, I think the study Paul cited was that when people work together in a group, to achieve the same goal, they tend to they tend to be able to look past each other's differences a little easier, afterwards, and work together on other things. And so, if we, so I do agree, if we had like a labor movement, which is what most people like, that is something you could sell to most people, that fight for your working rights. Unfortunately, I do think that there are a lot of people that would just be opposed to that. But I think, I don't know. It's a nice idea. I don't know. Have you thought any more about whether or not that would be viable?
Oh, Paul's solidarity thing is that
solidarity.
The one thing that could unite the people of this country, and not unite them on every issue.
Right.
Paul fully admits that there's people in this country who are, how are you going to get the racist and the black dude to, stand side by side in the same battle or whatever? How are you going to get all these disparate groups of people with all these different ideas about how things ought to be to join on a single team? And his answer was to build back the strength of the labor unions, build back the idea of solidarity, and build a movement that's around the workers, which is I mean, like, Marx already like, this is not a new idea. I mean, like, Marx said, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains, all that stuff. So I mean, like, this is like already pretty standard, like, leftist fare,
right?
And, unfortunately, it seems to me that you go to a lot of people who are workers and you say, like, we need to unite against the bosses. And they're like, fuck that. I want to be the boss one day,
right.
Like that same thing. Or even if they don't think they're going to be the boss, like, basically you get one of two reactions from people when you kind of like try to enlist them in that sort of endeavor. So either they agree with what you're saying, they're just too fucking scared. Like, I don't know, I just don't want to rock the boat because like I mean, they have reason to be scared. Like, they got kids to feed, probably. They got a wife or whatever the fuck. They have to make this money. Like, they're so dependent. They live paycheck to paycheck. So if that check stops coming, if that boss says you ain't, well, fuck you, you're fired. So they're not willing to fucking risk that. So there's people who are scared, and then there's people who are just like, will go the extra mile and will actually defend their own exploitation because I don't know why. They've been convinced that it's fucking like patriotic to do it, or like it's their American duty, or like the there's no better.
It might be the other thing you touched on, where it's like they want to be the boss one day. They're like, nope, I'm going to defend this system because one day I'm going to be on top. It's like everyone's like delusional. Like you see,
I work hard, I do my due,
right.
like
I noticed this when
they don't have that ambition though. There's still plenty of them who are just like, let me tell you something, boy.
Oh, but
let me tell you, this is the best damn country on the face of the earth. The best day in America. I'm sorry, the worst day in America is better than the best day anywhere else on earth. Like that's the mentality. Like I saw a guy say that at like a school board meeting in a clip that John Oliver played on his show a few days ago, and it struck me. Because I've heard that mentality. I've seen it play out. I have fucking redneck relatives and shit who have said shit like that to me. Like who will say to me shit like, man, all this stuff going on right now, it just makes me so thankful that we got a good president like Donald Trump to see us through. It's like, oh my God, give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they're just so like this empty-headed jingoism that.
Well, they need that big daddy authority figure to look up to and
protect us, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Think for them. That's what right wingers want more than anything. Like, why do you think most of them believe in God? Because
I guess some people are whining. I'm sorry, some people are whining about not having their comments read. Listen, guys, I read them at the end of the stream. I know some of you guys just came in and stuff, but the comments will be read at the end. That's how this works. So. Don't feel like your shit's being ignored when you're sending in the super chats or Streamlabs. I am gonna read them. I'm just gonna read them at the end. Hey Jake, would you mind if we take a small break so I could take a piss and grab a drink so I can take another piss in the near future?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll just vamp for a few minutes.
Well, you can vamp for your stream. On mine, I'm just gonna put up the standby message, but I will be right back. Well, I guess I'll let you vamp for him. Go ahead. You can pimp your channel to him and shit and try to convince him.
Yeah, I'll try real hard. Yeah. By the way, if you guys, because I see people in my chat saying, "Oh, it's so nice in here, yo. TJ's chat is so full of fucking cancer, yo." So I don't know if you want to have your shit read, come over to my chat, yo. It's true. Most think that they will be rich one day, so they support the system that exploits them, and they all smile and a glimmer of hope that never materializes. Oh yeah, dude, there's right wingers out there that I knew people who like they go so far as to like buy lottery tickets and pray that one day they'll be rich. Like. Yeah, I know literal fucking conservative Christian types who think that buying a lottery ticket is conducive to actually being proactive in your life. Oh, it's absolutely sad. By the way, so yeah, everyone go check out my channel. Also go check out Underhaven. It's a podcast that me, Animancer, and Swegta do, dude. We do it most Saturdays, not every Saturday. Sometimes we're not feeling it, but most of the time we're there. Usually when we don't do a Saturday show, we make it up on like Monday. We also do a show on Wednesday called The Stoned Rejects. Usually we're doing it around right now, but we're doing this instead, which is dope. So yeah, do that, guys. Go check out my channel, and in the link of my description, you can find a link to Underhaven, which is a pretty dope fucking podcast. Pretty fucking dope. Who is this Lord Darké guy? I don't know John Morgan. I don't hate atheists. I feel sorry for them as they do me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I feel sorry for you. I kind of just pity you for a...
And I'm back.
Yo, TJ.
No.
Underhaven never... Okay, John Morgan, whatever. 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 So yeah, what are we talking about? God damn it. Fucking rejected.
There goes Chelsea the fascist again, just banning people left and right.
Fascist Chelsea.
Fascist Chelsea. Fascist.
That's why Chelsea's not in my chat. Fucking banning people, dude.
And fascist.
I need you to ban the quiet people in my chat. God damn.
Gotta ban them all.
Ban them all, yo. Ban them all. Ban everyone. Fuck the chat.
Chelsea the fascist, dude. What the hell? Why is she so rude? I didn't know I married a fascist.
I mean, I don't.
They won't let me be stupid in the fucking chat, mate. That's what Constitution.
I'm just gonna be honest right here. My opinion on this is, dude, you're in someone else's chat. It's like you're in my house, dude. I like Paul's analogy. It's like you're in my fucking house. I let you in my fucking house. You can say whatever you want within reason, but if you say something I don't like, I'm gonna kick you out of my house.
Get the fuck out, bitch. And they come back wearing a mask. It's not me anymore.
I mean, yeah, you have the ability to do that. That's the funny thing, yo. I'm not stopping you from watching if I ban you.
Chelsea the fascist. You're damn right she is. So you better fucking stay on her good side.
Hell yeah, dude.
Stay on Chelsea's good side, because her bad side ends with you being banned, bitch.
Most of us playing video games, Jay, live with it. I know. I'm not complaining. No, this is the nice chat. I don't have to look at any of the cancer over there. Hell yeah.
TJ is wrong. People are afraid to riot because even if they amass the people's army who is going to protect their homes and personal interests, the same army hardly. Yeah, that's why it almost has to get to such a horrible point where, like, people are already losing the roofs over their heads. People are already, like, I don't know if you guys have seen, like, how bad the eviction crisis is getting. I don't know if you guys have seen how bad the food insecurity crisis is getting, how many people are going to become homeless, and, like, how many people are out of work. Like, pretty soon people aren't going to have anything left to lose. So, I mean, if you really want to avoid a revolution in this country, you might want to start paying attention to the needs of these people.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the government should absolutely be capitulating to the wills of the people 100%, but they won't. Instead, they're just gonna. Does it seem to me like everyone's just kind of looting the treasury right now? Like that's really what these corporations are doing. That's what the elites are doing. Is all right. Let's get everything we can out of the system.
Why do most of these rich people have, like, bunkers in New Zealand and shit? So when the shit hits the fan, all them just vanish to their fucking New Zealand bunkers on their private jets and, like, well, we're gonna hide in here and ride out the unrest. You know. They think it's going to be like Atlas Shrugged or some shit. Like, we'll let the fucking plebs destroy themselves, and then we'll come out and rebuild the world. Not realizing that when they come back, they're going to be killed.
Yeah.
Maybe just fucking work to avoid the catastrophe with your fucking billions of dollars instead of working out ways you can escape the fucking results of what you've done.
Yeah, there's nothing more disgusting than knowing that these billionaires and shit, like not only do they all know that, like, the system is about to collapse, but they all probably know that they have something to do with it, and they've probably known for a long time.
Oh, they fucking know. They've known the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And not one of these motherfuckers is ignorant of what they've done.
Yeah,
so,
and they don't care. They've never fucking cared. Anyone who looks at these, they're job creators, guys. They create jobs. They bring us products that we need. You know, bullshit. All they do is control the means of production and enslave workers. That's not fucking. They're not some benevolent fucking gods that are protecting you and taking care of you and giving you a fucking job. In fact, if they weren't in power, you might have a bigger piece of the pie. If they didn't run their company so fucking evilly, dude.
Could fucking be.
Work at co-ops, yo. I really like that idea. I wanna seize the means of production, yo. Sounds like a good time, dude. Sounds based.
Well, you know what that sounds like to me? Bunch of dang old communism.
Good. You know what I noticed, dude?
Dang old commie,
like, it really is true. Most people that complain about communism doesn't even know what it is. And I know that because I've been defending communism for a while without fully understanding what it was. And it was only more recently when I started, like, unironically advocating for certain communist ideas, because I'm like, yeah, no, now I understand it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm for that. But most people they've just been pre-programmed. What communism? Let's ban Soviet Russia.
Where's Joe McCarthy when we fucking need him to fucking get the Reds like you? Only good commie is a dead commie, dude. We need Joe McCarthy to fucking rush you out.
It's all right wing scare tactics, yo. Right wing fear mongering. That really has been one of the biggest detriments to fucking leftist ideas. And that's, by the way, one of the reasons I have a problem with the anti-SJW community. Not because, like, I agree with a lot of the ideas, but I feel like their underlying cause, it's just it's harmful. And it makes it what? Oh, it's
what?
No, I lost the plot. I'm a stoner. I can't.
I was getting my dick sucked under the fucking table, and
I can't focus mid sentence.
I fucking lost my fucking train of thought. Like, what the hell, mate? Why you stop sucking my fucking dick?
Hermione was.
I like to make fun of Jae Darké's pseudo Harry Potter voice because he's Canadian, but he sounds vaguely British. So
yeah,
I've never got an explanation as to why, or if I have, I ignored it.
You actually did, but you played Harry Potter music over it.
So whatever. So I basically did get it,
Yeah. But no, dude, it's oh yeah, the right wing scaremongering, yo, it's just everywhere. I see it everywhere, and I see people who call themselves centrists, people who even call themselves liberals, using right wing scaremonger talking points that all they do is just fearmonger about genuinely good ideas and make it impossible for anyone to have a conversation, because the minute you talk about something, a socialist policy or a communist policy, people just that implanted that ingrained sort of reactionary response that they have to it just comes out, and they're unable to have a conversation with you about it, and it's so detrimental to political dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes back to the stuff I was already talking about with, the different tribal groups that
it does.
They all fucking, they all have these prepackaged belief systems, or they think they do, or they think they have to be faithful to this group or that group. And so many people are reluctant to be individuals. And, I think that, I think we have to get past it. And I think that part of getting past it is to drop the labels and try to figure out other ways of communicating these ideas with one another. And the language that we have now kind of makes it difficult to do that. So I'm not clever enough to come up with a new manner of speaking to one another, but I recognize the necessity for it.
Right. So I guess another thing I want to bring up on politics. I've heard this take a lot, and a lot of people seem to think this, and I'm not sure. What do you think that Trump's loss could possibly be the death of the Republican Party?
No, I absolutely don't. I don't think that you're gonna until.
Do you think it'll at least set them back for a while?
The Republican Party and the Democrat Party will die at the exact same time. You can't. They're two heads of the same coin. I understand that they're different. Okay, I'm not saying they're not different, but they're both essentially pro-capitalist, pro-foreign interventionist parties. So really what the difference is on social issues, the Democrats are a little bit more left. They're about as far left. They're as far left as you can reasonably be under fucking capitalism without fucking crossing into democratic or social democracy or whatever you want to call it. So that's where they are. Like gays are okay. We like trans people. Oh yeah, black people are good and stuff. But, we still support the system that, historically has oppressed all that, but we can reform it and we can make capitalism love everybody or whatever. That's their thing. And then the Republicans are like, we don't give a fuck about any of that. Just yay capitalism. And, you can have guns and abortion's bad or whatever the fuck, religion. So they both have little virtue signals. And within the context of those little virtue signaling issues, they might do a thing or two to advance this interest or that interest. But for the most part, they fundamentally support the same system. That's why the foreign policy of Trump is not all that different than the foreign policy of Obama, which was not all that different than the foreign policy of Bush, which was not all that different from the foreign policy of Clinton, which was not all that different from the foreign policy of Bush and Reagan. before him,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And it goes back for quite some time. So you see the foreign policy is basically the same. Our military adventurism is basically the same. The American empire is basically, functions under the same set of principles and against the same, actors as we've always been in 1,000 proxy wars against Russia and China for a very long time now. So foreign policy, Democrats and Republicans the same. Wall Street economics, their economic policies, some marginal differences here and there, but for the most part, pretty fucking much the same. And then, the social issues, which is like usually where the big wedge is. And then, sort of like they find these little issues where look, are the Democrats a little better on healthcare stuff than Republicans? Yeah, in my opinion, they are. And, but like, they're both propping up the same system and they both know it. There's no delusion in these people's minds that on many issues, they're on the same fucking team. And they make a big pageant out of, like their disagreements. They build those up into like, oh, it's a war for the heart of America. But really, they've already privately agreed on 90% of what America should be.
Right.
And so, and it's in the vested interest of both parties to keep any sort of like, if you're a leftist, your whole thing is like this entire system is sick and it's time to tear it down. Or at least, some people will say tear it down tomorrow. Some people say chip away at it gradually, whatever your approach may be. But your ultimate goal, if you're on the left, is like this entire thing's got to go. This is all fucked. So, that's obviously an existential threat to the Republicans and the Democrats. And the only way that they go away is if either the far left or the far right starts to take over. And if the far right takes over, then we'll go from American style private private interests controlling the means of production, and then we'll go to something more like what China had or what Nazi Germany had, which is like the state controls the means of production. Or it'll be the left, and in which case it'll be the people that own the means of production. And that's a really like super remedial 101 kind of understanding, but that's the basic gist of it. And so I think that the Republicans and the Democrats, they go away at the same time. You're not going to see the fall of one party.
So then I guess
I heard this shit when Obama got elected. Like the Republican Party is done. Bush is leaving. Historically unpopular. Yeah. There was a blue wave. America is going to be blue for the next 40 years. It wasn't even blue for 8.
Yeah.
So it's just bullshit. Trump, the Republican Party, if it loses under Trump, which I kind of think it will, but if it does, if it doesn't, it'll just continue on. If it does lose and Trump is repudiated and Trumpism loses the day, the Republican Party will go into the shadows and it will lick its wounds and it will reemerge with a new face and a new song and dance, but it'll be the same essential party. It's just to be wearing different fucking clown makeup. And it's gonna continue its juggling act, and eventually the blue team is gonna mess up, gonna fumble a few plays, and the American people will be like, "Man, let's give the red team another shot," and that's just gonna be that. So until the people are ready for actual existential change and decide that the Democrats and the Republicans are both full of shit, until the populace at large agrees with that premise and decides to oust these motherfuckers, then you'll see the parties go away. But when you see the day the Republicans die will be the day the Democrats die as well. It's not going to be one party falls. They're in a perfect little equilibrium right now. And maybe it goes up this way, but it's always going to go back that way. And ultimately it's right. If you look at the average, it's right about here. So, yeah.
Right. I do agree with that. That makes sense. I do think. See, my goal is getting rid of these parties and replacing them with something better. Do you think that third party viability could be a potential path to tearing down the main two parties?
I'm very skeptical of that. I don't think it's impossible. We saw with Ross Perot, he ran the most successful, by some standards, third party run ever. I think he got what was his percentage? I think he got like 20 or 30% of the vote. Some crazy amount. I can look it up really quick. But whatever he got, it doesn't really matter. He got a pretty significant chunk of the vote, but he did not win a single state. Then there were some other candidates who ran third party, especially back during like kind of like the around the time when the Southern strategy happened and stuff, or just prior to the Southern strategy. There was a lot of like parties that came out and like ran a more like Southern, because it was they'd just done like the civil rights stuff was going on, and there was a few people like I can never fucking remember his stupid name. Oh well, a couple of fucking racists came and tried to do like, yeah, we can Southern independence, which really just not independence, but like, the South needs to be free to do states' rights and do its own laws the way it sees fit, which was really just like, we want to keep segregation. And a few parties ran on that and actually won a few states in the South, even though they got lower percentages than Ross Perot. But Ross Perot, by most standards, I guess would be the most successful if you're looking at just raw percentage of the vote, but he didn't win a single state. He didn't get a single electoral college vote. So it's really hard for a third party to win. Typically we have not seen the third parties. We haven't seen the Libertarian Party or the Green Party ever break 5%, as far as I know. So I mean, they're pretty fucking. They do pretty anemic. They do pretty bad, and I think it's usually because people like part of the fucking scam of the two parties is, if you are a left-leaning person, you feel like, oh fuck, if I don't vote for the Democrats, then I might lose. We might lose this right or that right because they're after it, and the Republicans think the same thing. Oh, they're going to come for my guns, and they're going to come for this and that and the other thing, and people are so scared that the other party's going to win, forgetting that, like on most things, these parties are in total agreement, and so they don't vote third party, and I don't think they ever will. I really just don't see it happening. I think that if there is going to be a third party victory, it's going to be on the heels of some very crazy shit. Like you're going to have, like Americans in general are going to have, like there's going to have to be some sort of very charismatic figure that rises up, as a third party or as an independent that's able to garner massive countrywide support. Ross Perot was not quite that, but he was close to that, I guess, because he was able to get a pretty healthy chunk of the vote. So I guess it is possible, but I haven't seen that figure emerge. I haven't seen that yet, but we could. So I don't totally discount it, but I happen to think that probably ultimately the way these parties are going to be ousted is going to be something that's outside of the electoral process, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't really think that third parties are super viable. The reason I bring them up is because we've been talking about them a lot on Underhaven, and sure. Animancer is kind of hitching his wagon to the idea of, well, he's like, look, I'm in a state that's already gonna go blue no matter what.
Right, and I kind of have the same position on that. Like, I was planning on voting for the Green Party, even though I'm not even really particularly fond of the candidate, just because my state's going red for sure. I mean, if I saw a poll that said it was close here, then I'd consider fucking sucking it up and being like, all right, I guess I'll fucking hold my nose.
Animancer is actually voting for Jo Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate, because he believes she has a better chance of getting over 5%. Because he believes, if we get the third parties up over 5%, they'll become more viable, and it'll be more likely. I'm a little more skeptical because I come from Canada, where we have more than two parties already, and I voted NDP in the last election, which is a third party. I voted for Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP party. I really liked him. It was basically the closest to Bernie Sanders that Canada had. Not quite there, but close enough. I knew people who liked him, but they were like, yeah, no, he's never gonna win, so there's no point in voting for him because it's just always conservative or liberal. And I think that's pretty much exactly what'll happen here if we get third parties.
Yeah, I mean, in the U.S., I mean, like, the system is really built to be a two-party system.
Right.
Like, even in the past, even when there were other parties, like there used to be like the Whig Party, and there used to be the Republic. It was like the Democratic Republicans and the Whigs or something. And even The only time when one of those parties died was when it was immediately replaced by another party that was, and the two-party monolithic sort of thing, or I guess not monolithic, but like duolithic sort of structure where there's two parties in opposition to each other, and you have this very binary choice. Like, it's really weird. And George Carlin pointed it out a few times. Like, you go to the fucking store, it's like there's like 70 fucking different kinds of like Oreo and shit. But when it comes to like something important, like who's gonna lead the country, it's like you got two choices: red team or blue team. Your choice. Go ahead.
That's the insane thing. I really do see the argument that I think Paul makes the argument of like we just have too many choices. It's like sensory overload everywhere we look. Like you go on Netflix, there's so much to watch. You don't even know what to watch. You want to buy a game, you don't know what game to buy. You want to fucking listen to music. Like everywhere you go, there's just so many fucking choices.
It's almost like we're paralyzed by like, whoa, look at all these choices. But then with politics, it's like, here's your two choices. What you want?
Right.
Which one? Which of these two?
We don't have that mentality in anything else. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you can have you can watch, like you said, like you go on Netflix, you can watch a billion different TV shows, a bunch of different products that are begging for your fucking money. You could have like so many different styles of shoes. You can buy a different fucking I don't even know how many brands of fucking canned ravioli or whatever the fuck. But when it comes to picking your president, red team, blue team, which one you want? Red team, blue team. Red team, blue team, red team, blue team.
It's almost as if we're given all these choices and other things, almost to like, give us the illusion that, hey, you have choice. You have a free life where you can make your own choices and have whatever you want. But when it really matters, we have no choice. We're just playing the game. We're just cogs in the machine. And the little bit of political power that we have, they try to take it away from us and make it meaningless by we vote for Bernie Sanders and oopsie, some fucking votes disappeared in this district.
Oh man, we lost the vote truck from the Hispanic district where Bernie Sanders does good.
Yeah, ain't that the darndest thing?
I guess Biden wins Texas after all, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure thing, man. That sounds great. Awesome.
Which is why I also see the kind of like the cynical, pessimistic take of like, you know what, fuck politics, I'm not even getting involved, it's pointless, I disagree with that though, because I don't believe in not fighting. I believe in taking some action rather than none.
Yeah, I'm not to the people who just donating, I don't want you guys to think you're being ignored. Donations will be read at the end.
Ignored. You're garbage.
And even if you donate and then you have to go, this stream will stay up, so you can always come check out what I said to your thing later. But yeah, everything will be responded to in the due course of time. So yeah, throwing that out there.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Okay. We can move on to. Do I have anything else yet? Not really. I guess.
Then we can move on to nothing.
I guess there was a couple topics here. Okay. Okay. I have a question from Animancer. He wants to know, if you could collaborate with any one person, but before you die, who would it be? If you could choose, or you could list 3.
Fuck, I don't. Okay.
They can be alive or dead.
Okay. I don't really know. I don't really feel like I want to collaborate with anybody. I mean, I guess I do collaborate with people, but I don't really, I don't want to.
You don't want to like collaborate with like.
I mean, like, see, the thing about, I guess I collaborate with Paul and Scotty, and I guess that's fine. It fell into that rhythm naturally, and I don't have any animosity towards them. But like, just in like asking me from like a direct standpoint, like who would you like? I don't want to collaborate with people. I just want to tell them what to do to make my vision happen. So I don't really.
Well, who would you do that with then?
Just whoever could fucking make it happen. Like if I'm making a movie or something and I want there to be the best visual effects, I want the best visual effects person, Right. But I want them I want them to basically make whatever I want to happen. And then, they might have their own ideas, but I want to overrule them and be like, nope,
So
Even though you're the artist, I know better. So I'd probably be. I'm a terrible collaborator. You know what I mean? It's like, it's no good.
So would you collaborate with someone like, I don't know, Tarantino? Or like,
I mean, look, I'm not going to turn down the fucking opportunity to collaborate with anybody, I guess, as long as we get along on some level. But like, it's hard for me to imagine. I feel like the collaborative thing, I guess here's the issue. I feel like it's contingent more on how I get along with a person rather than like what talents or skills they might have. Like, I love, oh man, George Carlin, he was so fucking funny and we agreed on so much. Wouldn't it be crazy if we like wrote a screenplay together or something? Right. But, you know, me and George Carlin get on each other's fucking nerves, and, you know, I think he's a control freak and he thinks I'm a moron. Like, who fucking knows? So, I mean, I guess it kind of depends more on like my knowing that person rather than like being aware of what their legacy is or something like that. So it's kind of hard to answer.
Well, fair enough.
But I guess, you know, I mean, I guess it'd be like the same people I venerate. Like, if I'm just gonna like answer in a vacuum, I'd be like, you know, like the Marilyn Mansons of the world, the George Carlins of the world.
Yeah. TJ and Manson collaboration, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can just be a background dancer in one of his music videos.
Yeah, or maybe he could incorporate like one of your coughing fits.
Yeah, he likes disturbing imagery, so you know, you can just put me in like a bikini or something. I can dance back there like, woo, yeah. It's like, well, this is Manson's most disturbing video yet.
Yeah, dude.
You
know. But sure, I guess Marilyn Manson is, I guess, the obvious answer. So over the years, you've had many different projects and collaborated with many different people. Obviously, some projects worked out better than others.
Each and every one of them worked out.
Yeah,
just perfect.
Yeah, they were all amazing. No.
TJ ghosted me. I didn't ghost you, you bitch.
But so I don't know. Did you learn anything from like any of the you know, the failed collaborations of failed projects that you've had?
I suppose. I don't know. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you're going to consider. Like, I can't really think of something I think of like as an absolute failure.
Sure.
Because everything I can think of something came out of it.
No, sure. I mean, okay.
I think that's like the best you can really do is like, I guess, create something.
I guess a better way to phrase it would be, what were some of the things you learned from like the more negative aspects of some of your past, you know, projects? Because like I've heard Paul talk about recently about basically Paul had a point about how he's learned, you know, you don't let the community run you don't let the fans run the show basically. You know?
Like with DP. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've learned some stuff, but like once again, I'm not a very past-minded person.
Sure.
And that sometimes frustrates people about me because they always want, what do you think about this? You remember this? You remember that? It's like I'm in the moment, you know. And I guess I probably learned some things, but whatever I've learned it on a more instinctual level rather than some sort of like credo that's in my head. But, you know, I mean, a lot of what I do is a reaction to what I've done. Like DFF is obviously a reaction to like what DP was. DP was like, every show's the same and it's all about this. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, I want to show where everything is different and it's fucking, you know, every episode is a different fucking topic and every episode's a different fucking thing and you never know what the fuck you're going to get. And it's like, well, okay, well, you don't have the same like stability there, but you know, you have way more, like it's way more fun to make, you know? And to me, like that's what's important because I'm the fucking artist or the creator or whatever the fuck, entertainer, whatever the fuck you want to call me, or the dork that turns on a fucking webcam and says, ah! You know, whether you want to fucking have like a high or low appraisal, like ultimately for me, it's about what I want to do. And, you know, if there's 10 people that like it, that's fine. If there's 10,000, that's fine too. But I'm not really married to that, I guess. And I think that, honestly, I mean, I've heard Paul talk about how, like, DP was, like, way too beholden to, like, fan stuff. But I don't really honestly fully agree with his assessment of that.
I think
we did a lot of things that were like totally like to just like designed to piss the fans off. So
sure, no, you guys definitely. I always appreciated when you guys did that. But what
I think the reason he remembers it that way is because he was he wasn't in a position on that show to like have as much input on decisions.
Yeah.
So I think that he feels like there was time to do stuff and it wasn't done because he just didn't have that voice in that project.
I kind of share that perspective because as a fan of the show, and I was actually a very big fan of the show as it was dying, and in fact, a lot of people said, oh, that the last few days of DP before it broke up was terrible, and I was like, what? I was enjoying myself. I enjoyed those shows. Looking back, okay, they weren't your best work, but they were still good. A lot of them. But
I have no idea. I've literally never gone back and watched a single episode, so I have no fucking clue.
Fair enough. There was a time when DP was my fucking life. In fact, I don't know if I ever told you this. When DP broke up, I actually it was like the day after it was like the day I broke up with or my ex dumped me, and like no, it was my ex dumped me after the day after your Plan C stream. I was like watching the Plan C stream. I was gonna watch it. I was like, I'm a little bit late. You know what? I'll just watch it tomorrow. And then I tried to tune in tomorrow. After
there was no tomorrow for that show.
Yeah. I'm like back at home, back at my grandmother's house. I'd like moved back in to my grandmother's house and everything. I'm like, fuck, dude, what a shitty fucking day. Time to watch some DP. I go turn on my fucking computer, and all I see is everywhere, DP is dead. DP is dead. I'm like, what? Holy fucking shit, dude. My whole world is ended. But
your shit's over, boy.
Yeah,
no more DP for you.
But my perspective, then really was that the biggest problem with the show was.
I explained to some people what Plan C was.
Oh, okay.
So on when we did DP, if Ben did a show without us, he called it Plan B. So we fucking ended up doing a show without Ben, and we called it Plan C. And then that show ended up getting taken down. And we lost it. So it's like a lost episode. We thought maybe someone would have it, but no one had it. Yeah. So yeah, that's like an entire episode we did that was really fucking good. That was like just lost to time. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. That's why it's so like I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow, yo. I'll fucking watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it from the beginning since I'm late, dude. And then it was gone. I was salty about that for a while, but dude, my perception at the time was that the show ended because the fans were like really fucking strenuous on you guys, and like everything that you did, they would like criticize. It was like, oh, you made this decision, we don't like it, get rid of this, bring this back, why are you doing this all the time, fuck this. And I noticed the show going back and forth, you know.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think that the audience was too much to do with why it ended or anything.
Okay. I actually made it.
Oh man, this audience is terrible.
Actually.
When we started our new show, we knew we had to get rid of some of them because, like, not because necessarily they were a bad audience, but just because we knew they weren't the right audience for what we were going to be doing. So we made a concerted effort, especially with those early episodes, to be like, because we could have done something that was a little bit closer to what they wanted. Right. We made a concerted. We're like, no, let's not. And we adopted a fucking monetization model that was more built around, let's fucking build a smaller, more exclusive fucking community of people that like the shit we're doing. And that's proven pretty successful, because even though in terms of views, we get less than DP did, we make pretty much the same amount of money that we ever did under DP. So maybe not DP at its fucking absolute height, but for most of DP's run, we're pretty comparable to that, even though we get way less views than they used to, or than I guess we used to.
You know what's interesting? My first video that actually got any views was me talking about the DP breakup, and I was like, yeah, it's the fans' fault. I was like, fuck the fans. I was like, I know this is gonna piss you guys off, but fuck you guys. You're garbage. You're the worst fans ever. I got a lot of hate for that, but I didn't care, yeah. Nice to know it was all in vain.
Yeah, so you were just talking shit.
Yeah, I didn't know what was up. That was just my perspective, and I guess I wasn't the only one with that perspective. I did think that the fan base had grown really toxic, though. And I didn't like being a part of it. There was a reason why I wasn't prominent in any communities. I didn't talk a lot in the chats back then. I was pretty fucking silent. I would just watch the show because yeah. But anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, the toxic word gets thrown around so
no,
easily.
It does. When I say
like,
toxic,
the Rick and Morty fans are toxic. Like,
Sure,
I've been going out with like Rick and Morty pins on my jacket, and people are like, "Yo, Rick and Morty, cool." Like, hey, yeah, cool too. I'm like, is that a toxic interaction? Like,
Sure.
you know, like.
When I say
Like, yeah.
toxic, I mean unwelcoming. It was a very unwelcoming fan base, and I felt not just me, but there was a lot of people that felt like, oh, you say anything in the DP community, and it's like, ugh, cringe, lame, fucking faggot, and you know, that was, oh yeah, Mickey Richards, that's someone who's definitely like that. Yeah,
I feel like,
I'll call you out. You're a fucking troll.
I feel like there's every group of people though.
No, sure,
Like.
yeah.
Every group you can point to, there's something you could fucking say that's gonna piss off the whole group.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, you're just gonna, it's, you know, it's triggering people is fucking easy. Every one of these, it goes back to the whole tribal thing. Like, every tribe has its heretical shit, and all you got to do is go up to them and say the heretical shit, and they'll all go, even if they don't particularly disagree with you, just they'll still be like, oh no, that's forbidden. The tribe says no. So. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like by that, if any community is toxic, then as far as I'm concerned, every community is.
I mean, maybe it is just the loudest people of that community, and they're not a representation of the overall community. But they end up being that because those are the people that get heard the most, and you know, it's,
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm denying like some sort of broader dynamic trend or whatever, but. I don't know. I'm just really sick of the lumping in of people together and saying like these people are like this and these people are like that. I just don't. I don't buy it.
I do agree with that. It's really hard to like talk without using that kind of language because what I should say is there was a toxic element. There was a strong toxic element that didn't.
I guess. I don't know, but like once again, like toxic is a subjective term and all this shit. Sure. I mean, I don't mean to fucking be too fucking deconstructive with shit to the point of like, you know, there's nothing like what is reality, but like, you know, like one man's toxic is another man's like, wow, I'm home, this is great, finally people who get me, you know. So I don't know about this whole toxic shit.
Sure. It is all subjective. I will agree with that. My definition of toxic is way different from someone else's definition of toxic. So and I fully accept that. And maybe I should look at it with a bit of a broader perspective.
Oh yeah.
Where'd my phone go? God damn it. But I guess
up your fucking asshole.
Yeah, dude. I shove it up my yeah, I don't have any bananas around, so I
had to improvise.
I
had to shove my phone up my ass. I just fucking uploaded a picture of a banana, then shoved it up my fucking ass.
I didn't have much else. Oh, you wait. I wanted to ask you this. You have ADHD, right?
Yep.
Like you do seem to. So do you have like a hard time like sitting down and like making a video or like writing something out or like planning shit?
So I have this thing I'll do where if I'm trying to write something, I'll pace around and I'll think about what I want to write, and then I'll start writing, and then I'll pace around some more, and then I'll end up thinking about something totally different, and then I'll just start that new thing, and I'll have like 80 things or some shit like being worked on at once.
Oh, dude,
and like a lot of them will never be continued and stuff, but some of them will. And it's just like I just try to like lean into it, and certain things it's just hard to focus on, so I'll just do I'll just bounce around between the things, and eventually some stuff gets done. So
right. I mean,
that's about the best I can do. Now, I don't know. I could focus on stuff like you see me bouncing and stuff. I mean, well, you don't see me because you're not.
I do it too.
Screen, but yeah, I'm like I bounce around and stuff.
I'm doing it right now. I can't help it.
I get all antsy and my legs bounce and shit like that. you know, and it's partly because, you know, part of my mind is elsewhere, or like part of me wants to get up and pace around the room, even though I'm
Yeah.
fucking in the middle of a conversation and shit.
Oh, dude, I've started doing because like I told you, like right now I'd be doing Stoned Rejects with Animancer, because I can use a headset when I play that, when I do that, and I'm usually playing a video game. I'm usually literally standing up and like walking around the room while I'm playing the fucking game, you know, and
Right.
and I find that to be like literally the most comfortable way for me to stream, and I wish I could do that all the fucking time, but I can't do that with most of the content I do. I have to sit in front of a chair on camera, and
Yeah.
I hate it, dude. I always want to get out, get up, go outside, smoke. That's why I do a lot of my streams outside, because I enjoy just sitting outside, and because then I can get up and walk around and take my camera with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, smoking is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you don't do that anymore. Fucking props though, TJ. A lot of people thought you couldn't fucking do it, dude. You proved them wrong.
Well, I mean, you know, there's, I still have to continue to do it every day
Right.
for, or not do it, I guess, every day for the foreseeable future of my existence. So, you know, who knows? Congratulations, maybe premature.
I mean, there's always the fucking perfectly legal tobacco if you got to scratch that
There's
itch.
still very
Or
much
this-
the possibility of like one day, like, fuck this. I need that fucking smoke.
Yeah. I know it's hard.
So, you know.
I still have the opposite strategy where I keep the cigarettes there, and I have one on occasion, but I never let myself. And I always I try to reason it to myself, like, dude, I can't be buying more cigarettes, dude. This was like what, $10 a bag. Am I gonna make this like a fucking occurrence that I'm smoking like a pack a day? I gotta go fucking spend. I can't afford that shit, dude. Maybe just me being poor helps me from not going overboard with the smoking. I don't know.
Yeah, I find that ever since I started dieting though, it's actually I think less about cigarettes and more about like junk food. So
Yeah, dude.
at least I've moved on to another.
Well,
I mean, I still all the time. I mean, you know, it's still not uncommon for me to be like, man, I could go for a fucking cigarette, but like now it's more like, oh man, I could go for a fucking box of donuts or whatever. But you know.
I mean, I guess I don't know what's worse for you at this point, the cigarettes or the junk food.
I don't know.
I mean, if you can,
the craving for the junk food is worse. I don't know which one's actually worse for my body.
right? I mean, if you can moderate the junk food and like, yeah, you got your cheat day once a week.
The junk food, yeah, the cigarettes I've pretty much had to quit completely. The junk food I can do in moderation, but moderation is really like, I find it's easier for me to be cold turkey than it is to be moderation. But I also find that you know, with even the fucking phrase cold turkey, I'm like, cold turkey. So I don't know. I'm naturally pretty much a fat ass. So I need some indulgence in that area, or I'm just gonna snap. So
yeah, fair enough.
that's a win.
So,
like the eating thing, that fucking, like, smoking is cool and all, and you can get addicted to it, and you know, obviously you want to smoke and shit, and that's a thing. But wanting to eat, like if you've established a pattern of eating over the course of your entire lifetime, that shit goes right down to the very like core and essence of your being, to the point where, you know, like if you're not eating the way that you have always eaten, you feel very wrong. Like,
I mean,
I am acting in defiance of my very nature now.
I can agree with that, because I've like got the opposite problem where I don't eat, and actually getting myself to eat is the fucking hard part.
Right, and it feels probably weird. I'm assuming,
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
does.
why
It's
am I eating this food? It's fucking, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is bad. Yeah.
So
oh, go ahead.
I just want that was all, that was most of the questions I had. So some of them I decided not to use, but so I guess all I really had left, I had some viewers gave me some questions that they wanted me to ask you.
All right, well, we can wrap up with those, and then I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of my Streamlabs and super chats I've gotten during the duration of this.
All right. So someone wanted to ask, okay, they have a question for both of us. What is your opinion on the modern meaning of the word simp? Have any of you simped? How do you feel about people who simp? I don't know. What do you think, TJ?
I mean, I think that there's definitely a point of like sexual acquiescence to a person who's not like, you can definitely go overboard being like, overly nice or supportive to someone who has done nothing for you other than be attractive to you, right? You can be like, oh man, this girl is pretty, so therefore I'm gonna give her fucking money for nothing and buy her presents and all this stuff in like some vain hope of maybe one day she'll pay me some attention or whatever. So I think that definitely is a form of simping. I don't really think that like supporting a girl's like OnlyFans or something is simping, because you're getting something. Like, to me, it's all about what the reciprocation is in the equation. Like, if you're getting some fulfillment out of it, then I don't think it's simping. But if you're not getting any fulfillment out of it, but you just have this like wish that one day maybe you'll get the attention you want and you'll become fulfilled or something, then I think it's simping, and I think it's kind of pathetic and sad. I don't really like the term simping, but that's where I'd basically draw the line on what simping is. And there can be too much acquiescence in relationship dynamics and stuff like that, but people really have to decide that shit for themselves. And honestly, like, if a dude wants to simp, then if that's what he wants to do, let him fucking simp. It's none of my fucking business. But I personally don't consider, I mean, people are going to have different standards of where it fucking begins. Like, some people say like, oh, you support that fucking e-thought on fucking OnlyFans, you're a fucking simp. It's like, well, I mean, I'm getting something for my money, I'm getting fucking a bunch of ass pics from a girl whose ass I like. So, I mean, seems to me like a fair trade. But other people be like, you're a simp. So, to that person, I'm the fucking simp. And that's fine. But to other people, to me, are maybe simps or some. I'm more fond of, like, I guess I don't really have a term, so I'll go with simp. But yeah, I don't really let it overly concern me. Like, if there's some chick out there that's like smart enough to trick dudes into like giving her money for literally nothing, or like acquiescing to her opinion for literally nothing in return, like if she's figured out how to do that, then more power to her. And the dudes who are dumb enough to fucking fall for it, whatever. Maybe hopefully one day they'll wise up.
Yeah, I agree. It is something that I have engaged in before, I guess in a sense, when I was a lot younger, when I was a teenager. But as far as the word goes, I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I think it's a dumb word, but I use it anyway. But when I use it more in a general sense. I don't use it in a oh yeah, this man is simping for this woman. I use it like, oh, these idiots are simping for this game company, even though they're putting out shit.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it does go beyond just like the sex politics kind of thing, to like just anybody who's like overly loyal to some brand or idea or concept or whatever. And in that case, I think everybody probably has something they're simping for. So.
Yeah. So someone else asks, okay, Xenodroid, okay, and Gangsta X asked that last question. Xenodroid asks, will you and Paul ever bring back Pitch Wars? And I agree, dude. Pitch Wars was a great fucking show.
Paul started to get paranoid that Hollywood would steal our ideas. So, I mean, I don't really particularly think that's gonna happen.
I love Paul, dude.
But that was like,
it's so fucking paranoid.
We have best ideas for free. You can't do it no more. I'm like, all right, well, that's how you feel. I'm not gonna force you to do it. I thought it was a cool show, but the reality was it was a lot. It wasn't a lot of work, but it was. It was a pretty decent amount of work, and it pretty much underperformed compared to most of the stuff on that channel. So it really wasn't necessarily the best use of our time.
Well,
that was a reason why I was just kind of like, yeah, we can kind of let it go.
What about just for patrons, yo? I mean, then Hollywood probably wouldn't get their hands on it then.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do it every once in a while or something. I mean, it could be done again. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I thought they were fun, but. They weren't the best view getters in the world on a channel that was getting pretty good views. which hopefully is coming back soon, by the way. The Cinema for Cynics channel.
Dope.
And we've been talking about it coming back for a while, but I think we're finally have reached the point where it's gonna start producing content. But I don't think Pitch Wars will be among the content.
Well, then, how would you guys feel then about I guess maybe Underhaven doing something similar at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could talk to Paul about it. I don't really.
It's I guess it's Paul's thing.
Particularly care, but I mean, it's more. I mean,
I know.
I feel like you could rip off you don't need our permission to rip us off. Just change enough around where it's not quite 100% ripped off, and there you go.
I mean, unlike some people, I don't like to just rip off your guys' idea whole cloth.
Concept battle or whatever the fuck, and whatever. Who cares? Concept battle.
So okay, someone also asks, Hyun asks, will you be making more funny material in the vein of bricks or eggs, or go completely off the wild banana colored yonder? What are you talking about? Okay, yeah, bricks or eggs. I don't know what his other thing was, but
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't really done. It's kind of hard when you don't have people around to collaborate with. I mean, Chelsea's here and stuff, but like it's just me and her, and like I've only let other people into my house a handful of times since COVID happened and shit, and you kind of need other players to do that kind of shit for the most part. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that was never really a main staple of mine. That was always kind of an occasional thing. So I assume that probably some stuff like that will happen again in the future, but I don't have any plans at the moment. I'm more of a talker.
Bricks, dude. Yeah, I know it can be really hard to do projects like that. Honestly, I have ideas for like videos like that all the time, but actually getting them done is a whole other story. Especially when they involve more than one person. It ends up just not happening most of the time, which sucks because I mean those videos can be fun, but they can also be hard to produce. Dude, Xenodroid, you posted like a bunch of questions. You don't get to post like infinite questions, dude. That's
maybe he should have done the interview.
Yeah, dude. Fine. I'll ask one more. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Yeah, okay. Only one food. What would it be, TJ? I would hate that.
How specific does it have to be? Because
yeah,
like I could say like hamburgers or something, because you could put you can make a bunch of very different hamburgers.
Yeah.
Like topping, like, or does it have to be down to the specific of like, you have a hamburger with mushroom and this and that and the other, like, is it down to that specific of a level? Because that's going to be super contingent on, if it comes right down to that, like I just am forced to eat like the exact same food item forever. Like I'm going to have to pick something that's going to represent, all of the nutritional needs that I'm going to have. So I'm going to have to pick something that's like robust in literally every fucking nutrient there is. And I don't know what that would be. But at that point, it'd be like a survival choice, and it would be more rather than like a taste choice. But if we take that out of the equation, then I guess I don't really know. Pizza? I don't know.
Yeah, pizza would probably be the best choice. Dude, I would hate that. One of the things I hate in general is like eating like the same thing over and over, and if there's a lot of something, I'm much less likely to finish it than if there's like a bunch of like small things. That's just me though. But like if I had
leftovers too much, I mean, like I'll eat them, but like, hey, you want to eat that thing we had for dinner yesterday again today? It's like not really.
Yeah, and if I had to eat the same meal, I just kill myself, dude. I'm like, no, thank you.
Get that shit out of here.
This isn't an existence, yo. This is nothing. Then I'd actually cut my stomach out.
With that shit. Get that shit the fuck up out of here.
But by the way, y'all should check out my song. If I'm what I eat, then I must be nothing. It's dope.
Yeah. Jae Darké makes songs too.
Yeah, dude.
He's a song guy.
I do raps, dude. And there's gonna be more rap songs out soon, dude. I got two. I got one called "If I'm What I Eat, Then I Must Be Nothing." The other one's called "Jump," dude.
Jump.
And I'm working on something with TJ. It's gonna be dope.
And then the other one is called "Sit Still."
Yeah, dude.
Sit still. Sit still.
So I guess that's it. I can stick around for the super chat thing if you want.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna take a small break before that, so I'm gonna go take a very short break, and then I'm gonna be back, and I'm gonna read your guys' Streamlabs and your guys' super chats. So don't go nowhere. I will be back, and Jay, you're free to stick around if you want.
Dope.
But I'm going to read Streamlabs and super chats in just a moment after a brief, little tiny break, and don't go nowhere.
I guess I'm still live on my stream, so yeah, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna take a quick smoke here. But how's everyone doing, yo? How's the chat? No, Jim John, I am not talking. That individual does not deserve to be brought up, dude. Fuck that shit. Why are we gonna retread old ground, dude? That's pointless. Iowa is restoring voting to felons. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that's based. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah, dude. I'm sorry, everyone should have voting rights. I don't think simply committing a crime fucking exempts you from your say in the democratic process. Doesn't fucking work that way, yo. That's just another attempt to fucking curtail democracy at every fucking turn. I'm not down with that. Whatever. I'll deal with that later. Okay. Good stream. Hell yeah, dude. I've never heard simp said so many times. Oh yeah, dude. It really is an overused word, and that's what, like, I don't disagree with its usage some of the time, but like, it gets overused so fucking much. I'm sick of it. It's everywhere you look, dude. It's everywhere. Simp, you're a simp. Oh, you said something I disagree with, simp.
All right, I'm about to be back. 3, 2. Hey, everybody, back once again. Here to read some Streamlabs and super chats. See what's going on in the Streamlabs super chat world.
Read that shit.
And here we go. We're doing it. We're fucking doing it. Let's see here. Let me find the beginning of this. I didn't think we got this many. Looks like we got more than I thought. Visionary Explorer 666. And well, I made it sound like that was part of their screen name. Visionary Explorer gave $6.66, I should have said. One of the big issues with the critical thinking, has to do with humanity's lust to belong somewhere. We all surrender ourselves in order to make everybody else feel comfortable. We sell ourselves short so that nobody feels disappointed. We only want to belong. I think it's a fair point. I don't really have much to add to it. Trump, best president ever, gave $2.20 and said, TJ, please pretend I gave you $20.20. I don't have $29 to spare because I got laid off and didn't qualify for unemployment. Anyway, Trump 2020, keep America great. I think that person is trolling.
I hope so.
Because that's either that or that person has no self-awareness whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm fucking impoverished, but I'm voting for Trump.
Dude, and America's failed me in every respect. Anyway, Trump 2020, keep America great. Dumb Kid gave $3.60. Says, you guys are boring. Do a funny doo-doo fart. Yeah, we already did that fart for you, so don't need to do that again. Gord's Not Dead gave $4 and says, will you talk about the new body cam footage about George Floyd? Holy shit, it is the right going Hail Mary to justify a black man's murder. It's kind of scary. I will be addressing that in a future stream. I have some thoughts that I want to write out. And unfortunately, okay, so look, I'm very easily overwhelmed by such videos like this recent Trump interview on HBO, this Axios interview. I have been unable to watch. And it's because when I start watching it, I become so overwhelmed that it's hard for me to fucking handle. And I've always been this way, especially with things that are awkward or in some way uncomfortable. And that's why I've never seen the original George Floyd video of him getting kneeled on for 8 minutes, because I don't think I could possibly sit through that. And I don't feel like I'm gonna. I feel like I'm gonna have a really rough time. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have a really rough time sitting through this new footage as well. But I am gonna do it. I am gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch the whole. I'm gonna try to watch the whole incident as much as possible, and I'm probably gonna create either a live stream or a video about it. It might be a little bit late. I'll probably be a little bit late to the conversation, but I do plan on addressing it. Superman Dude gave $2.01 and said everybody who fell for the Billy/Paul kayfabe is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree. I think they sold it pretty good.
No, they did.
I can definitely see people falling for it, especially maybe not an idiot, but naive.
Well, I believed the fisting. No, but I believed it before I had actually seen it. I believed it when you guys were talking about it constantly, like after it happened, and about, oh yeah, Paul got fisted, and then I went back and I watched it, and I believed it until I watched it fucking happen, and then I was like, yeah, okay, no, that's not happening.
Right.
But
yeah. The great thing about the kayfabe element on that show was you never knew what was real and what wasn't. And a lot of times stuff would really happen and people would think it was kayfabe, and then a lot of times we'd kayfabe and people would believe it and no one would call us on it. Like there were some instances where we got, people like, that's kayfabe, and they were right. And there were some instances like, where people said that's not kayfabe and they were right. But there was a lot of instances where you really did pull the wool over their eyes, and I'm not telling you what they are. Don't bother asking.
Dope.
Dark Daxter version, I can't tell if that's a 7 or a Z because it's underlined, and that kind of makes it a little bit difficult to read. But he says, he gave 666. He said, I have avoidant personality disorder, and the lack of critical thinking is one of my deepest fears. Watching people knee-jerk to narratives is terrifying and depressing. Which enemy will they paint as? I want to know a person, not what they're told to think. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much exactly where I was coming from with the rants I unleashed earlier. Dark Daxter, I'm glad that you agree. Excuse me. Star Fox gave $4 and says, if money was no object in the world of tomorrow, especially regarding housing, which would enable people to live wherever, do you think people would almost all crowd onto the East and West coasts and a few others already crowded places like that around the world? No, I think there's people out there who definitely do not like the city, and they want to live on, they want to live somewhere rural and isolated, and they don't necessarily want to have a bunch of people around them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I'd stay right where I am. I love New Mexico. There
you go. Tucker White 94 gave $5 and basically just posted a long string of gibberish, but thank you for the money. Shen Bapiro gave $6 and said, I could have done more today with my day off, but I spent it playing video game and listening to two 500-pound neckbeards philosophize about, well, wait, are you talking about Jay? Because Jay is not 500 pounds.
No, I'm tiny.
Someone else. Are you talking about me and Paul or something? Do you like Big Van Vader? I think he might have been the best big man, second to the Undertaker.
This is a test Vader donation cool. For $79.
The Stallion gave $4 and says, I want to do a keen off with Paul keenifying song. Is that possible sometime in the future? That seems like something to ask Paul.
Yeah.
Not me. Because I can't answer for Paul what Paul might be willing to do.
I can. I'm in his head. I know.
I can. I mean, that's untrue. I could pretty much answer for Paul. No, there's no chance.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. I can just. I mean, maybe you might get lucky, but
maybe if you get him drunk at a meetup.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet. But we don't know when who knows when the meetups will happen again.
Meetup.
So we just got another one in from Gorehoundula, who gave $6.66. Says, hey TJ, glad I can finally support you since you like zombie movies. Have you checked out the Italian zombie flicks from the 70s and 80s? namely Lucio Fulci's Zombie. It's my favorite zombie movie. Hint: Zombie versus Shark. Yeah, I think I saw some of that movie. I'm not sure if I've seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of Italian. I it's weird because there's a lot of forms of schlock I like, but the Italian horror film usually just strikes me as being kind of dull. But I'm certainly willing to give it a chance. But I'm pretty sure I already saw at least some of it, but I could be wrong. All right, let's move on to the super chats. Gotta scroll down a little bit to get to the new ones here. Here we go. Shia gave £2, says, when will you be on Joe Rogan again? I haven't been asked, and I have not tried to engineer it. I think it'd be rude for me to write to Joe Rogan and be like, put me on your show again. Certainly, I could do something that desperate, but I feel like my 2 appearances are probably about what's warranted. And I don't know, maybe when he moves to Texas, I'll drop him a line and see if he wants me to do a 3rd appearance to round out the trilogy or whatever the fuck. I haven't really tried to make that happen, and he hasn't tried to make it happen. So I'm pretty cool with it not happening. But if he offered, I'd come back.
Maybe when you finish your book, dude.
Yeah, maybe then. Maybe when I have a book to promote, I'll try to see if I can get back on there. Doom Kid gave $5 Australian and said, scammed again. Poor Doom Kid. Black Magnolia gave $4.99, said, I'm only giving $5 because Jay is on. Oh, see? Your money repellent. That person usually gives $1,000 a show. Mr. Naughty Priest, who's my perpetually drunk buddy out there in the ether,
we all
gave
love Naughty Priest.
200 very super generous dollars and said, okay, TJ, have money. Thank you, Mr. Naughty Priest. We all love you. And we appreciate your endless generosity. You are a god among men. Doom Kid gave $2 Australian, and Josh and Kalinsky are in Jay's huge shadow. Yes.
Yeah, dude. It's totally not the other way around.
And then your antagonist gave some money and is trying to start shit here. So I'll just skip over that. Money. But yeah, my show's not going to be a platform for some beef between you two. So please don't do that.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Doug E gave $5 and said, would you call the Federation in Star Trek socialistic or communistic? Neither. It is a list future, but it is still a future in which hierarchy is still clearly a thing, and competitiveness over career and stuff is still a thing. So I don't really think you can call it in any true sense a socialist or communist future, but it is a post-capitalist future. So, but I think rightly so, Star Trek portrays a future that's outside of any of our political norms of today. I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer. Good to know.
Damn. I'm sorry.
That's from The Room. So,
The Room.
Ponera. Yeah. People don't like how I say that, I guess. Gave €2 and said, work is slavery. Automation is liberation. Possibly. Depends on what kind of systems you have in place when automation takes over. G gave $6.66 and says, they collect things to identify with as a matter of social compulsion, a flawed and ultimately discriminatory attempt to find solace in community. Not sure exactly what you're referring to, but Ether does. Zachary gave $14.99 and says, I sold my grandma's heart medication to give you this money. Well, she's lived long enough anyway. Zachary again with $4.99 says, I just want to see the butt again. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? K Funky gave $2, and that's it. He didn't say nothing, but thank you, K Funky. John Morgan gave a very generous $20 and said, in order for people to think separately from herd/tribal mentality, they need to go against their own cognitive biases, or essentially their primal instincts. And the key to combating that is through metacognition. So that's John Morgan's 2 cents. And, you guys are free to look into metacognition. Unknown I'm not saying that word on the fucking stream, dude. Unknown N dash etc. Said, TJ, have you heard of Rush's newfound Christianity and lecturing others on degeneracy, even though he was a PUA for 20 years, LMFAO? Yeah, I've heard about it. I haven't actually looked into it. Pretty funny stuff. Divorce from Humanity, another very generous $20 donor, said, the internet's thrown people of all ages together, removed consequence of being disrespectful and embarrassment of exposing stupidity. Do you think that the reason discourse is so bad is because we all hide behind fake names and avatars? Yeah, I think that's part of it, but I think the larger reason is just because people have become so factionalized as they realize that there are others out there with whom they can form these little ideological alliances, like even if their ideology is totally crazy and stupid, like the earth is flat or something. Even they can form like a little group of like, yeah, we're the flat earth people and we fucking deny the science of the globe or whatever. John Morgan gave $20 and says, when it, I should say, I should also describe his $20 donation as generous since I did it for the others. When it comes to ethics, people need to rely on discourse. One needs to be able to use analysis, assessment, and argumentation to attempt to refute whether or not something is morally / ethically sound or unsound.
Nuance.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem, is like the problem with any sort of morality, especially one that proclaims to be objective, is that, you know, all it has to do is say this is morality and it's objectively true, and no one's allowed to question it, because if you do, you're questioning the objective truth, and there's no discussion and there's no debate and there's no weighing things out in any sort of like by any sort of measure, whether it be utilitarian or some sort of other measure. There's just, it just is an excuse to end all discussions, and that's not a good thing. Unknown whatever again gave 666 Canadian, says, please beat Roosh V on the Christian ethics because he has no business being in it. Lol. Yeah, I mean, anyone, I mean, like all the Christian ethicists are hypocrites, so whatever. Do It Live gave $5 and says, you can still hold yourself accountable for the things you say, thereby reducing the amount of dumb fuckery on the internet. No one thinks the things they're saying are dumb, though. It's the problem. No one recognizes their own stupidity, and if they do,
no, everyone thinks they're a fucking genius.
I'm the right on this. Even if they acknowledge in some like nebulous way, like, I'm not that smart, but I know what's what.
Well, because so they listen to the people that's the thing. They think, oh, well, I'm not that smart, but the person I'm listening to is really smart. So I'm smart. I'm smarter than average for listening to this person and having this really smart take.
I'm smart by proxy.
Yeah.
Jalea Paradigm gave $5, as TJ is right. As always, the most astute, brilliant comment. Doug E gave $2, says, I want to say fuck Dinesh D'Souza. That is all.
Agreed.
Indeed. Paparonia gave €2 and says, cacistocracy is inevitable. What the fuck is cacistocracy? I'm looking it up.
I have no fucking clue, dude. Kakistan. Is it have to do with Kekistan?
No, it's not even spelled the same.
Okay. Government
by the least qualified or most unprincipled citizens. Oh, we got that now. That's already happened.
Yeah.
It's not only inevitable, it's present. It's happening. Did you see the Axios interview? I mean, come on. Mofo Jenkins gave $5 and says, the battle between the elites and the majority is everlasting. The elites become overbearing, revolution occurs, new elites rise, repeat ad infinitum. Yeah, we have to break that cycle, but you're right. That is the problem. It's more than a problem. It's the problem. Sexy Xenomorph gave £5 and says, you guys, DFF crew, have mentioned working a lot. I fear your burnout, no real spare time, etc. is an issue or not. Also, butts. We're working pretty hard right now, but we're working hard so that we can have some time off later and take off some real, like, we're trying to get a back catalog of episodes done so that we can have some time to just chill and not worry about it, so that we can recharge. I think we've all decided that we'd rather do that than just produce 2 episodes a week and just always be right on that razor's edge. We decided to do more episodes every week. So, like, the way we do it right now is we shoot episodes on Monday, Tuesday. No, sorry, we actually don't do Monday. We do Tuesday. We do Scotty's episode. Wednesday we do Flash Fried because it has to come out that day. It's tethered to the events of the day. Then Thursday we do my episode. Friday we do Paul's episode, and Saturday we do the banter-sode. Or either we do a banter-sode or we end up doing a Patreon perk that day. So then we have 4 pieces of content. Well, 5, I guess, because Flash Fried as well, that come out every week, and then we just rinse and repeat that over and over again.
So how regular are you guys doing the banter-sodes now then?
Pretty much one of every 4 episodes that we're doing, pretty much, or close to it, because it's a little bit offset by the fact that we sometimes do patron perks on the day we would do a banter-sode.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
the banter-sodes are dope. I really enjoy them. Yeah,
I mean, I think they're usually pretty fun, and it's like the free form nature of them can lead to some pretty crazy discussions. Yeah. We had one recently. I don't think it's come out yet, but we've kind of labeled it the poop banter-sode.
Poop.
And it ends with pretty much the most disgusting conversation that I've ever had in my entire life. So,
damn.
Yeah, it gets really.
Can't wait.
It gets really weird.
It gets
awesome. Really fucking weird, but also really funny. And let's see. The Spinosaurus aegyptiacus gave that $5. He just did the. I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer. And then Classic Baseman gave $10 and says, I got into an argument about nihilism with someone, and their argument against nihilism was that you cannot destroy energy, so therefore there's a meaning and purpose to life. Okay.
What?
Like that's the point where you just walk away.
That makes no sense.
I have decided that you are not worth talking to, and I am vacating this area, sir. I am getting out of here. All right. Well, that concludes our. I believe that's all the Streamlabs.
I had one question from someone here who was trying to donate.
Okay.
They asked you, can you relay this question to TJ? Said, how can we transition from our current system to something close to a democracy?
We have obviously a form of like representative democracy here, and there's clearly some problems with it. Most notably the 2-party stranglehold, this like what I like to call false dichotomy politics that seem impossible to escape right now. And then, it's obviously a representative democracy instead of a true democracy. And unfortunately, it seems like the representatives don't often actually represent the will of the people, because there can be things that pull very well with the citizenry that are literally political non-starters in Washington, which if they were actually representing our interests should definitely not be the case. The problem is they've been bought off. So step 1 is getting money out of politics. Step 2 is probably adopting something like along the lines of I don't remember what the exact term is, but like the tiered choice voting, where you can vote for the party you actually want to vote for, but then you could say, okay, but if that party loses, then I want my vote to go to this party instead. So that's not. I think it's ranked choice voting. Actually, that's what it is.
Ranked choice.
So I think we should implement ranked choice voting. It does have some problems that are inherent to it, but I think they're less severe than the problems that already exist in our current systems. So I think that it makes sense to do. So I'd say ranked choice voting and end super PACs, get money out of politics. Any fucking politician caught taking these kickbacks needs to be severely fucking penalized by losing their political position. And we need to get rid of lobbyists. It's all the fucking dirty dealing that goes on has to stop. And it's very, very difficult to do that. I also think that there should be national ballot initiatives on certain issues. How in your local community you can vote on we're going to vote on Prop 21 to legalize marijuana or whatever. There should be national versions of those. We should abolish the Electoral College and switch to a popular vote system. That's also a good idea. Paul's Fat Ego gave $4. It says, I have difficulty focusing on reading because my mind keeps wandering off and I read without it really registering. You say you don't finish many books. You have this. I think everyone has that. That's when you just have to go back and read it again, and that can happen, especially when your mind starts to wander off. When that happens, you just got to read the fucking passage again. I've decided to start doing I usually watch TV, but I'm going to do a night a week where I just read exclusively. to kind of get back in it. It's also not just for the sake of getting back into reading books, but also to help improve my terrible focus. Yeah, but that's it. I'm wrapping it up from there. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Jay, for being here and for posing the questions that you posed. You guys can subscribe to Jay's channel down below in them comments in the that's comment section in the description section of this video. You'll see Jay's channel link right up in there. And in fact, I can, now that we're done streaming, I can go ahead and take the grift link off and just put Jay's link on top. Hopefully get him some viewers and shit.
Hell
and
yeah, dude,
thank you guys
subscribe.
for watching. Jay was a little nervous on here, but usually he's a little bit more focused.
Hell yeah, dude. High energy ranting over at my channel. We also do Underhaven. Y'all should check that out, dude. Me, Animancer, and Swegta. It's a dope fucking show.
Do it. Check it out. A lot of stuff to check out. Check them out. Chelsea's blasting the links in the description and the top, or she's blasting links in the chat. I've put it at the top of the description. Check out Jay's channel. Have a good one. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed. And if you have anything to say about this discussion, I look forward to reading it in the comments down below, since I wasn't able to look at the chat as much as I would have, I would have hoped or whatever. Well, not really hoped because, but yeah, I look forward to reading your guys' comments and stuff. And if you have your own unique take on any of these issues, I can't wait to see what you have to say. I love reading those comments, even the ones that disagree, as long as they actually provide some kind of argument. If they got no argument, then I don't really like them as much. Anyway, that's Jae Darké, and I am the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out.
Piss off.